Ba weep, grog now weep, ninny bong TF addicts, and welcome to a very long overdue, but also highly anticipated episode of the Transformers Thought Corner. I'm your host, TFA1024, the TF Addict. And before anyone is concerned about where are our guests, I want to give a brief update real quick because as of 2 weeks ago, I left a rather ambiguous as well as very emotional community tab post, and I want to thank everyone for engaging with that. Specifically, the one commenter who was being very supportive about suggesting taking a break and everything. I was unfortunately going through a very bad breakdown with the recent events of acknowledging my biological father's suicide anniversary back on May 21st this year, which happened 2 years ago. As well as acknowledging the passing of my mother with her birthday already come and gone. It was just a rough couple of weeks. But I've also felt like I just haven't been able to, be good enough at this because I have no idea what to make. I've been debating on making a future video update on it, but I feel as though maybe the best thing to do is just kind of stay silent behind the scenes and then go from there and just see what happens. So I'm here for Rise of the Beast because I've been greatly inspired and I've seen the movie 3 times already. So that's why I'm here now. I can't promise or say that these episodes are going to be super consistent. I can't say that any of my future videos are going to be super consistent. What I can say is that stuff will happen when it happens. And if it doesn't happen, then just assume that something's on the way because life behind the screen has been quite difficult, both in terms of as a caregiver for my father, as well as my own mental health care and everything. So please bear with me. Stuff will happen. If it doesn't happen, just keep your hopes up, I guess. I don't know. But I don't want to keep giving false promises and false hope and make you guys be anticipated for something that's not happening. But I will say Divided Mind is still happening 100%, or at least 99.9%. And hopefully it'll be worth the wait. And from there, we'll see what happens next. So without further ado, let's get our guests in and let's maximize the hype.
Heyo.
So,
Heyo.
would our illustrious co-hosts like to introduce themselves?
Okie dokie. Pretty sure y'all know me by now. TF Address 4891. This amazing dude to my left or to the right, whatever. I don't know directions.
Directions, things, everything. It's me. I'm the rainbow man.
Yes, I am this amazing man's girlfriend and future fiance. Hopefully, not hopefully.
Yeah.
You know,
it's happening. I got to get a ring.
It'll happen. Anyway, we're here too because I just saw Rise of the Beast today, and oh my god, it was amazing. But we'll discuss that later down, in the next few minutes.
And that only needs one more introduction.
Yeah, I am a Circle Raptor. If you're seen these before, I'm actually attached to these. I've been, I help moderate chat, help keep it entertaining. Sticking around with TFA these things for years, and ready to talk about Rise of the Beasts, especially my very
Yep, and I already introduced myself, so let's just say we get into it. But first and foremost, I would like just to give a friendly reminder that if you are in the live chat, please, of course, be respectful. There are going to be discussions of heavy spoilers at some point later during the stream, probably halfway through. So if you haven't seen the movie, if you don't want to be spoiled by anything, unless the TV spots have already done it for you, please avoid this stream, come back later, and feel free to join the conversation then. In terms of people joining midstream, it very much depends because it's been a while since we've done TFTC, and I kind of want to keep it small for the time being. So if you're not able to join this stream, there might be a next chance in the next episode. Because originally, episode 85 was supposed to be a discussion on representation in the Transformers franchise via representations of mental health / neurodivergence of different genders and sexualities and that kind of thing. But as I said, I've been unfortunately suffering with a bit of a breakdown, a bit of a flux in my mental and emotional health, so I haven't been able to do anything. And yeah, now we're here. Episode 85 is about Rise of the Beast, and I think it's quite fitting. Again, I've seen this movie 3 times. And again, I want to thank Instagram user IG. I almost said IG. God, my brain. I want to thank Instagram user FC203 on Instagram for hooking me up big time back on May 18th with early access tickets for an advanced screening at the AMC Theater in West Shore, Tampa. Thank you so very much for that, dude. That was an absolute ball, a wonderful experience, and a beautiful gift to my father because he turned 85 that Monday. So happy belated birthday to the old man.
Wow, that
And,
worked out perfectly.
Yeah, right? I was worried the tickets weren't going to work because, like, on the ticket themselves from the GoFobo website, they're like, IDs will be checked at the door. And I was like, wait, but this has a different name than what my name is. So it's like, is this going to be okay? We got down there. Guy just scanned the QR code and it's like, hey, you're in. Cool. And of course, after I ran into the manager the first time, because he was coming out yelling at the line, telling like, if you're here to see Transformers, keep staying in line, form the line properly, because like a lot of people are kind of slacking and everything. So he kind of like had to organize that. And then there were people there who won tickets from giveaways from Tampa Bay Comic Convention, as well as Big Redhead Vintage Toys, which was pretty cool to see them actually partner up with Transformers and do something like that. So shortly after all that happened, we finally got up to the guy. He scanned the tickets. He let us in. I saw the manager again. I was like, is it okay if that the name on the ticket was different? Because a friend of mine on Instagram gave me these. He's like, if you're in, you're in. It's all good. And I was like, okay. Because I try to be honest when it comes to that stuff. I don't like doing shady behind the back type bullshit. So again, huge thank you to FC203 for that. That was an amazing experience. My dad had a wonderful time. I had a great time. And the theater was absolutely packed. Like the whole back rows were completely reserved for those ticket winners. And the front rows were for people like us. And we were lucky to get in because there were only 200 seats. So we got very lucky. We saw it again on Wednesday in honor and celebration of my mother's birthday. She would have been 80 years old. So happy belated birthday to her as well. And then we just went Friday to support the official release because I really want this movie to do well. And I really enjoy it that much. I have not been disappointed through the entire the many screenings that I've seen. So that's my story. Who wants to go next?
Well,
You go.
okay. Well, that was my phone. I'm sorry. Did you heard that? I literally just saw Rise of the Beast today, like just at 11 a.m. and I'm starting to think maybe that wasn't the best option. Because I was like, okay, wow, I'm done with the movie and it's so early in the day. What do I do now? But of course, if I did do it later, I wouldn't probably be able to do this. So yay! But yes, oh wow, I was blown away. It was so good. Like the acting, the humor, the writing, the music, the action. Oh, the action! And I saw this in Dolby Cinema. It was vibrating, man. It was awesome.
I didn't even get to see it in like Dolby or like IMAX or anything. I mean, to be honest, I'm not really into that. It's just like I could just go see the movie and then, I'm happy with how I saw it. But
yeah, because
I mean,
3D. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because like I've seen way too many like 3D movies and like it just let me down. So I was just like, okay, do I want to see this in Dolby? Do I want to see this in 3D? No, I'll go with Dolby.
I kind of want to see it in Dolby, but like I said, I'm not that type of guy to like want it to be like my experience is my experience. Like if other people want to go IMAX or 4XD or 40X or whatever it is, more power to them. I'm just a dude who's like, I just want to see the movie. I don't care how. So Cyborg, how'd you see it?
It's actually a very unique situation. So I saw Rise of the Beast last year in July. I was offered a ticket to go see what was called a action adventure movie for next summer, which I thought was going to be I thought at the time it was going to be Shazam 2 or Venom 2 or something like that, which turned out to be Rise of the Beast. Yeah, it was. I saw a whole different cut, some different scenes that we'll probably talk about later on in the stream. And it's notoriously now like listed around this community. My breakdown on TFW 2005. Yeah, it was weird seeing a whole movie. And also with the movie being about 80 to 90% previs, like no choreography was like locked down, and seeing anything that was locked down and now cut. So yeah, so I had to hold that in for a full year, practically, of not telling anyone. But in fact, I personally actually think me dropping a bit of information that made a whole scene get cut because of people reacting to the scene I released online. But we'll get to that later. So yeah, and then like TFA, I won tickets to go see it Monday. Which I just Googled Transformers Rise of the Beast advanced screenings. I saw sweepstakes or like a contest from local radios. I just put in my email and I got a response on the email that the Friday before saying you won. I got 2 tickets. Me and my friend went. Fun time, especially because that was the tail end of my kind of little holiday. Me and the TF actress was there too. We were to do the Phoenix Fan Fusion, like our own state Comic Con. So that was a good way to end that. Seeing Rise of the Beast early. And yeah,
that must have been fun.
Well, yeah, absolutely was. And although I will say, I mentioned to these guys earlier that my second time watching it, the official cut, was it wasn't as fun because I was too busy nitpicking every difference in the movie. But so then since then I saw it again and now had a lot more better experience. And yeah, I had a great time.
Did you see it just like excuse me, did you see it just like standard, or did you see it with like any enhancements, I guess?
I saw Monday screening was regular showing, and then IMAX on yesterday show.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it at the AMC theater on like a giant screen. Then we went to our local theater and we saw it on the regular screen because that was the only availability at that time. But the cool thing is we got those like marquee balcony suite tickets. If you know what I'm talking about. Like, I don't know if you guys have those. You know what I mean? Like the balcony suite tickets. Like the seats.
I wish I had
like
those.
The recliners and such. No? Okay. Well, must just be me then. But yeah, we had that. And the second time we went to our local theater on Friday and we saw it again on their giant screen because apparently they have a giant screen. So same tickets, or not same tickets, but same thing we did. We saw it with the balcony suite tickets, except we were like one row further back than the original row because we had tickets or seats for MA9 and MA10, except this time we were 9B10, 9B9. Sorry. MB9 and MB10. So it was kind of funny that we got the same seats, but they were just one row further back. Other than like experience though, dude, holy shit, what a movie. Like, can we just talk about how nice it is to finally talk about a Transformers movie again?
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years, almost 5. Since our last Transformers movie with Bumblebee 2018. Like, that's nuts. I never want to wait that long for a movie again.
Never again.
Yeah, and luckily though, we're in a situation where we'll be fine for the next couple of years, I guess.
I hope so. I mean, I know of the announcement of Transformers 1. It's such a stupid name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that they're going to just dual produce, like, we'll just keep doing animated movies and do the live action ones back to back. That's how I would see them doing it successfully. But
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me still?
I mean, I can hear you.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is our host not there?
I think just popped out for a sec.
Oh shit.
Hesitant.
All right. There it is.
Hello.
There he is. He's in. Ooh.
Oh, am I getting kicked out again?
You kind of were muted for a
you were quiet for a second.
All right, where did I cut off? Because I know my internet's been spotty again.
I was just talking about what was it I just said? I don't even remember what I just said. Going between movies, like going back and forth between live action and animated movies. Probably that's the plan.
Right. Yeah. Oh yeah, because we're still talking about like possible Transformers 1.
Mhm.
Like it's still going to be animated. It's going to be probably what we got with a live action film. It's most likely going to be more closer to like the Bumblebee animation, except it's like on Cybertron.
I'd be impressed with like that. I think that's a lot of work. I'm thinking more like what we're getting with their recent TFTC movie.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Really?
Yeah, because I think even one of the heads of Hasbro mentioned that it's very Spider-Verse in design.
Ooh.
Oh,
like
right.
that.
I completely forgot about that.
I could vibe with that.
Well, wait, how is ILM gonna? I mean,
Island doesn't have to do just purely like realistic like look at design. They can
no. I know
add,
that, but I'm thinking from like a what's the word? I'm thinking from a certain perspective, like because ILM is mainly known for doing like CG. Like I don't think they've ever done like animated.
Yeah, which is why I think that this could be their first time. I'm sure a lot of artists were the first time in Spider-Verse, and now it's become a like phenomenon.
I guess I would explain why.
I guess we'll see. When they first.
I guess that kind of why explains why also like other movies like Puss in Boots 2 sort of copied that same style. I don't want to say. Well,
at some point,
maybe
I'll look it up, but
copy,
maybe ILM did do animation. Like, yeah, maybe during the stream I'll look it up. See if I can.
Maybe. Either way, it's just nice to talk about Transformers movie again. Speculating has been a lot of fun. I can finally say I'm a guy who predicted a thing, albeit a very niche, very minute thing. I can still be like, I predicted a thing, and I'm happy about that. And I'll get it.
I can't say I can do that anymore. Not this year, at least.
Huh?
Yeah, I can't say like I can't like because we're usually really good with predictions, and this year, or I guess this movie's like go around. I couldn't really do that.
Yeah, because you're lucky ass got to see a test screening.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing. I'll trade in the experience of seeing the entire movie with no media, no trailer, no nothing, over speculating with trailers and stuff. I guess like I would take that trade.
Yeah.
That being said, I did lose my hype on the movie.
It's like the trade offer meme.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
I offer you advanced screening to Rise of the Beast. In exchange, you can't make any predictions.
Yeah. I offer you a year in advance screening. I take your hype and speculation. I'm like,
damn! You had to make it depressing.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Like, I mean, I got a little hype, but like it was kind of thing of like I know a lot of it's just like I can't say anything.
Yeah. Yeah, dude, it was hard for me too because like you were the only person to tell me things, and like I nonchalantly, like I didn't breach anything, but I nonchalantly said like I know things about this movie because
I had to shut you down completely and be like you can't.
Like, because like people were questioning about it, and I was like I can't tell much, so it's like what do you?
I was more like just afraid. I didn't want like anyone to get traced back to me.
No.
Like,
that's why I didn't say your name or anything, because I'm like, if I do this, then you're basically going to be thrown under the bus, and then you'll never probably have opportunities like that again, and I don't want to fuck it up for my best friend, so. But some people, they were kind of pushing, like, who's your friend? I'm like, I'm not saying. You're not getting it out of me.
I mean, I've let some things slide anyway. Like, there's a good couple people that knew. Like, a couple TFW dudes and a couple other people I knew.
I'm still not over the fact that you were trying to push me to like make videos or something based on the info and before the movie comes out.
I was like, you should totally just do a prediction video and just say the entire film.
Yeah. Oh man, but how does everyone feel like first? Do what?
I was like, people would call you a prophet, and you would have. I mean, that's the only thing is that you would have to fess up. Like, okay, the truth is, I didn't know.
I'll be like the next Rajaram Manoharan who does like all those animated.
Yeah.
Which
absolutely.
I guarantee you, a lot of people feel kind of stupid with some of them because it's like the one he did with certain character death was actually almost spot on.
Oh yeah.
So like, like just quit giving him a hard time, man. He didn't do anything wrong. He's just making fun animations, and people are like, oh, his account needs to get banned and all this stupid shit. And it's like, it's not hurting anything.
Oh yeah, I know.
Chill out.
I mean, banning is like a little too far. I mean, I can understand the frustration with constantly
Agreed.
seeing that, but also don't attack.
But it's not like anyone else clickbaits on YouTube, right?
Yeah, right.
So, but let's talk first impressions of the movie. I was blown away, man. Like, it's okay. So I say this as nicely as possible because there's not really any other way to say it. I knew what I was getting into because it is almost your standard Transformers movie. Like, it is your average sci-fi action adventure blockbuster summer flick. There's a MacGuffin. They have to find the MacGuffin, but the way that they go about it is actually a little bit different compared to like the previous Transformers movies. I mean, I think we can agree on that, right?
Yeah.
Like, there is a shift. It does feel like there's a different like tonality to it compared to the Michael Bay Transformers movies. The cinematography is still gorgeous. I'm so glad, and this isn't necessarily a spoiler, but I'm so glad that Michael Bay and Steven Spielberg are still affiliated with these last two Transformers movies, because like you can see the cinematography is very Michael Bay-esque, with the addition of the followed action of like the Cybertronians fighting each other from Bumblebee, where it's like it's not like wide angle shots and like you can barely see who's who, and it's like a rip-off Cloverfield type effect. That's more so like, here are the characters in focus beating the shit out of each other without any interruption, aside from like the occasional like cut to the humans and figure out what they're doing, and but it's not them like just like living an average day life or something. It's literally them trying to like escape from danger majority of the time in this film, which I love because it really does help what's the word, increase the God, I had a thing in my mind and now it's failing.
Establishes?
Oh, what?
Establishes?
That's it. That's also it. But that wasn't 100% what I was thinking. But yeah, it does also increase like the human inclusion of the story, Like, it's not like your traditional Transformers movie where you have like Sam Witwicky yelling, Optimus! It's like these characters are actually doing shit. Like, they're running away from danger. They're trying to figure out like Uncharted puzzles, I think they handled it really well. The CG, I'll also admit, because I didn't know at first who MPC Films was, and then I found out that like, oh yeah, they've been the ones that have been doing like Marvel movie shit. Like, they recently did Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, for better or for worse, depending on how people feel about that. I think the CG in that movie was fine. That's just me personally. I'm a big Marvel movie fan. They did Sonic the Hedgehog. Love that movie. They did Sonic 2 as well. Those movies are really good visually as well. Like, they found a way to like really kind of hone their skills in a bit. And for a first Transformers movie, I mean, yeah, there are some moments where the CG is like, you can obviously tell that the character is just kind of inserted and it looks a little bit off next to like one of the human leads. It's okay. He'll be back. He's having tech issues just like I was earlier. Either that or I think he mentioned he's using
his
I
phone.
think he said he was using his phone. Yeah, there he is.
I apologize. My bad.
It's all good. You said you're on your phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I was saying, it definitely, like, you can tell when a character is just kind of like looks like it's just they're inserted in there next to the human leads, and it looks kind of awkward. But like a majority of the film, the CG is pretty crisp for NPC's first Transformers movie. Like, right?
Totally.
I mean, I will say that like because it is like become like public knowledge that a NPC had to pretty much ask a whole other team, like a whole other CGI company, to help finish it. Because NPC, like they're mostly known for more animalistic things than mechanical. Like The Lion King was all MTZ, and they are, obviously that was really good. When the movies, half the cast is beast animals, like Transformers, so it makes sense. But from what I heard, a lot of like the last part of the film, and other parts where Weta jumped in to help finalize everything. And I actually think a lot of those shots are from Weta. Weta, WETA.
I've never heard of them before. I must do research.
I don't remember what they did. I looked at it before and it was
Workshop?
Maybe, probably, yeah.
No, wait, no.
I don't know. It's I don't know. I remember I looked at it before. I don't remember the answers now, but I know that they helped, like in their credit and everything, that they jumped in and finished up all the stuff that they had problems doing. Because like the teaser trailer, all the TGA wasn't good, and there was a reason for that because they were having trouble, keeping up, and things were clipping.
Oh, that makes sense. Did they get credit?
Yeah, they're in the credits.
Okay. Because I know that some Transformers movies don't credit everyone, and I feel that's kind of scummy.
Right. I mean, yeah, I'm pretty sure. At least I'm sure the name Weta is part of the credits.
Okay. Oh wow, they did Cocaine Bear.
Oh
wow. But yeah, I think the CG was alright. I think there was a couple shots that were kind of like iffy, but overall, like it's I'm not gonna say this is the worst CGI one. I don't think there is.
No, far from it. Definitely far. But you can agree that like some of the instances of like characters showing up on screen, some look just like they were inserted and out of place. Others kind of looked like they fit. Right?
Yeah. I'll say there are some shots that were I would say are better.
I feel like
anything in the last battle I think was actually pretty.
Yeah, I was actually about to say there's one scene specifically with Mirage that kind of was like that looks kind of wonky to me.
For me, I think a lot of people noticed it. The shot with Mirage when he throws the arm cannon to Noah, you can tell that they had trouble tracking that with his hand movements. It was like very choppy. Not very choppy, but you can tell it wasn't smooth between his hand moving and the cannon being animated over it.
Throwing him the hand cannon, I don't remember that.
Like when he's like, he throws him like the little hand wrist.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah, that did kind of look a little off too. I don't even know if that thing had a name. I mean, do we just call that like
no, I just
Cyber Sleeve 2.0?
Let's call it Mirage's asshole.
Just don't ask where it came from.
That's the thing. Like they in my first cut, one of the differences is that scene happens. He's like, just don't ask what part of the body it came from. And then Wheeljack then says afterwards, he's talking about his butt. Then
you think they would go the dick joke route?
Oh yeah, right. No, like there's a lot. God, I'll say like, before we go into comparisons between cuts, a lot of character moments were cut from my version. A lot of like things that could have helped build these characters.
Yeah.
Specifically for like Wheeljack and Scourge.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of lines that Scourge.
If you heard
supposed to say.
A lot of the stuff that I heard, Angel, you'd be surprised like how much was cut.
Yeah, I mean, I can believe it, like in terms of Wheeljack, but for Scourge, that feels a little surprising.
Well, I mean, God, do we want to talk spoilers, slight vague spoilers now?
I mean, I'll say that it's in the description. I think if people are going in not wanting to get spoiled, they screwed up with just the title alone.
I mean, true. Because I mainly want to bring up lines of dialogue, but I feel like people would still kind of get pissed off about that. But like, at the same time,
it's literally the video is called "Talk About Rise of the Beast" with spoilers. I think we're fine.
I kind of like how. Okay, fuck it. So I'm just gonna get into it. So you mentioned like things about Scourge. I like how there's one line from Unicron. Whenever they're underneath the bridge, or they're psychically speaking to each other, and you hear what's the guy's name? What's the voice actor's name? I know it's
I wouldn't know. If you're talking about Unicrons, I don't know.
Something Flamingo.
Domingo. It's
Cole Domingo. Is that his name?
Coleman
there we
Domingo.
go. Coleman Domingo. I like how like there's a line from him wherever he's like actually pissed off at Scourge. He's like, "Excuses, complete the key, or you wish you had died with the rest of your planet." It's like, wait, what?
So here's the thing. So in my cut, So that same line happens. Like you wish you died with the rest of your planet, and then there's a moment where Scourge, like, he's quiet, he's by himself, he's like, I wish I did. Like there was a line of like he was tortured. He doesn't want to do this. But he was a lot more ruthless and very accepting of who he was in the official.
Yeah, because I know there was another line that was also cut with an exchange between Unicron and Scourge, and he's like, "If you fail me, I'll make your life a living hell." And Scourge, like, after they cease their communication, Scourge is just like, "It already is."
I think that's me being confused. I think because that was a whole year of not saying it. I think the line was, oh, you're gonna like you die with your planet, and then I think he said, I wish I did, or something like that.
So you were just paraphrasing that second part.
A lot of the lines that I remembered were paraphrasing because, again, it was a year ago.
No, it's fair.
I had a lot of work there.
Completely fair. But how cool the line would that be, though?
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, there was a lot of Scourge lines that because there's a lot of context that was changed too. Like in my cut, Scourge and Primal had a more of a personal connection. Like they knew each other. We didn't know the history back then. They didn't show the maximal planet. Well, they did for a second in my cut.
Did you?
It wasn't like the beginning.
Okay, so I guess that kind of answers my next question for you directly. Is that your cut didn't have Ape Link?
It did not. No. For me, AirRaiser did the.
Go ahead.
Oh, what? Okay, I was gonna say. So in my cut, AirRaiser, like, so she lands after she saves the Autobots from the Terracons the first time, and she says, "Oh, I'm a Maximal," and she explains who they are, and she does this thing that Optimus Prime does in the 2007 movie. She like shoots her like laser eyes with the hologram, and she like shows her planet, and it just for a second you see a bunch of like I guess it was just a bunch of Rhinox models. They're like getting chased by two Scorponauts, and then Scourge is there too. Like he's slowly walking after the Scorponauts. He's shooting his blaster, and then she like lasers up a hologram of Unicron, like as if he's in the Earth atmosphere, showing like Noah and Elena like what he looks like, and like this is why you pay attention because like this guy's coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was weird because a lot of AirRaiser's lines were different in my cut for both that scene and the scene after, because there was no Stratosphere doesn't show up, pick him up in my cut. They had just more conversation.
He didn't show up?
No, he like they all grouped up together, like that shot of Mirage doing that's like twisty transformation, and Noah's there. Like they used to meet up with Optimus, who he's still like fixing his arm from Scourge's battle, and like and like they're still like Optimus is still not feeling this thing with Noah. Elena has more communication with AirRaiser. Like there's even like a funny joke where Elena's like, oh, I bet you made the beast turn their heads when you flew by, and she's like, well, I could shake a tail feather or two. Like they had like just a regular conversation.
that would have been cute.
Yeah, and then they're like, well, wait, we're getting to Peru. How are we gonna get to Peru? And there's just smash cuts to them in the plane, and Mirage is like, are you sure about this guy? Like, can we trust this guy? And then you hear Stratosphere like, oh, I'm the best flyer in the sky. Like, don't worry about you. Stratosphere's got you. And so that's when I was like, oh, Stratosphere, oh my god, he's in this movie.
That is a big deal too, though.
Yeah, and he did transform in my cut. He looked just the same. The scene that we saw him when he transforms with B in his hands, that was the first time we saw him transform.
Man, I love that scene. It's so rare to see something like that. Like, having a character, because like in G1, right, you see characters get stuffed into other characters' vehicle modes for like transportation wise, and this is like one of those reverse situations. That was so touching to see. Like just something about the tone of that entire scene. It's like the solemn look on Stratosphere's face as he's like holding Bumblebee's knocked out body.
Yeah, right.
You mean lifeless body?
Lifeless, knocked out.
Well, that's the thing. I think he is like knocked out or just out of energy, because my cut, they were clear like he's dead, and I don't makes me think, why are they carrying his dead body? So I'm glad that they changed it to be like he's out of energy, he's out.
Yeah, because
Oh.
it looks like that thing that Scourge used. Like, I mean, it looked like the same gun that he used to shoot Air Razor with anyway. But like when he used it and we saw that like blue pulsating energy and like how we saw a lot of it getting sucked in towards the barrel of the gun, I'm pretty sure that's like his version of like an energon harvester.
Oh, damn.
That'd be
It's like
cool.
no different than like what Lockdown did with Ratchet in Age of Extinction, where he just like ripped out his spark. Except in that case, Ratchet died. In this case, it's just like, oh, you annoy me, so here you don't get to be in the rest of the movie until the end.
Well, I mean, like, I was, like, just sitting there, like, like, for, like, the majority of the film thinking that he was dead.
We knew he was going to come back. He's Bumblebee.
Oh, yeah,
He's always
yeah.
gonna
Oh,
come
yeah,
back.
I mean, like, if I didn't, like, know about that scene where he, like, just jumps out of stratosphere, like, a total, and just, like, just shooting, like, all those, like, Unicron orb things, like, like, mid-fall, which is totally badass. If I didn't know that was going to happen, I literally would have thought that Beat was totally dead.
Yeah, imagine me. I was really like, did they just kill Bumblebee in this fucking movie?
It's not the first time they did it in Bumblebee 2018, and then Charlie brought him back with like taser guns.
Like
Well,
I knew they were going to do it anyway. Still, like I knew they were going to bring him back because I was like, there's a whole off-road mode that I didn't even get to see yet, so I assumed.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's so many bits that, like, where that where you see that he's not going to die, but if you
exactly.
then you
He's a
probably
poster
think
boy.
he was dead.
Mm-hmm. No, Bumblebee is that dude. He is like the new Optimus Prime. You can't kill him. If you kill him, he will come back.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, Optimus Prime dies a lot. He just never stays dead.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly, I think this is like the first, like, Transformer, like, movies, like Bumblebee and Rise of the Beast, where Optimus doesn't die and come back.
Well, originally from, I mean, do you mind if I share Cyborg? I don't want to steal your thunder.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
So originally in his cut of the movie, when he saw it, the test screening, Optimus was technically kind of sort of supposed to die because in the final battle, whenever we see the transwarp bridge get like, let's just say Dark of the Moon Cybertron, for lack of a better phrase, Prime is supposed to go up to Unicron.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
It was like in my cut, the first time you see Unicron's eyes was that shot of like Optimus is like he's floating in space and he then floats toward Unicron and he like goes inside his maw and then like his Unicron like the bits of Transformers stuff and then you see his eyes and then cut to black. Like that was the after credits scene.
Mm-hmm.
I assumed like what was going to happen was they're going to do a Nemesis Prime thing.
Prime.
Which I'm glad they changed it because we literally just had Nemesis Prime the last time they did a Transformers movie, and it wasn't even really like the best way of doing it.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, so I think it was a smart move to just let that go and could pursue something a lot different, which is we'll talk about later, I guess. But yeah, that's a crazy change because I was like this whole year I was like, God, I know a movie's like ending for a full year. I have to wait 3 years or more to see that ending. But now I'm kind of glad because I still my prediction was he was going to come back to Nemesis Prime as the next Herald, and they were going to make sure it was a reboot and have Megatron land on Earth and have him be like, "Hey, we have to team up with Megatron to defeat Nemesis Prime."
It's really weird in this movie. Like, this is the very first Transformers movie where the Decepticons are just not present.
Yeah, like I think that's what like threw me for a loop after I left. I was like, just thinking to myself after like an hour or so, I'm thinking, oh my god, there were no Decepticons in this film. And like, I'm okay with that.
I think this is a little bit of a theory, but I think so Scourge, when he he's with Battletrap and Nightbird, the way I see it, I think Scourge, like I can assume that why he's in this timeline is because Unicron used like whatever power he had left to teleport him to this timeline to chase the Maximals. Mm-hmm. And so I think he probably just went to Cybertron or somewhere and like, hey, I need 2 goons. You Decepticons want to join me? Because Battletrap for sure had a Decepticon logo on his helmet.
Oh yeah.
And like when this movie was announced, they already confirmed that Nightbird
was an ex-con.
Yeah, so I think these are both. I think we technically do get Decepticons, just not under the allegiance of Decepticons anymore. I guess
it's kind of confusing.
And then there's a whole transit thing.
It does make sense because it's like, what kind of movie would it be if it was just Scourge?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like his like skeletal minions.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I'm surprised about the amount of like screen time Freezer got. Or I'm sorry, Freezers got. Like
Yeah, yeah, right.
That was kind of freaking me out. Like,
for
wow, like these things are like getting more like screen time than the other like two main like heralds of Unicron.
like
Mhm.
for such like nuanced characters, like just characters you think like, oh, you're gonna see him just once and then never again. These dudes actually play like a role. They're like Scourge's bloodhounds.
Yeah.
I mean, next to those like foot soldiers in the final battle.
I think there's a name for those. JJ Prime mentioned that they're apparently called electroshocks.
That's a
There's
stupid
a
name.
studio. Yeah, I know, right? But apparently there was a studio series listing a while back for a core class electroshock, and I'm kind of hoping that's not actually the name because it just sounds like a knockoff version of like a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure
literally.
we'll find out. If not, we can just call them freezers or just Terracons.
I kind of want to call the one with the shark head Ripper Snapper. Because then that way it ties into
that
the
one was kind of cool look too.
But yeah, they were really involved with it, and I'm surprised. Like, there's also one thing I really love about this movie, right? Is there are actually some like aspects of horror into this.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Like the whole museum scene, at least the interior of scene with the museum, like Freezer just like he doesn't transform, but he like contorts his body to pose with a dinosaur skeleton and then creepily looks at Elena. Like I loved that. That was so cool.
And then the screen pans up again and then he's gone. That was awesome.
I had to do a double take. I'm like, wait, where'd he go? It's like, is he still there? I can't see.
And then there's the like spooky shot of like when they're in the cave looking for the other key and then just like jump scare after like silence.
I swear there were a couple moments in my head. I'm like, are we watching a Transformers movie or the new Five Nights at Freddy's? So I was trying to make a joke. I guess it didn't land. Yeah,
I'm ready. I'm ready for the FNAF Transformers collab figure though.
Okay, but I think like my favorite horror inspired shot is in the beginning when Scourge is just walking through the into the jungle and he doesn't even speak yet. You just see him walking horror movie strings, and it's just like dramatic music sting, and you just see just his figure illuminated by his eyes and his chest, and it's just so fucking creepy. I had chills.
I fucking love that shit. That was such a badass entrance for this villain. I loved him so much. So you're this planet's great warrior. He's so cool, man. I love Scourge.
What do you think? You go.
I'm just gonna say this, and then you can ask me. But I'm so disappointed that the whole like Bay versus Prime becoming Scourge thing was debunked because I could see that work so well. But at the same time, I get what they're doing.
I'm like iffy on that one. I mean, I think that would be. I don't know. I would be okay with it, but also I can see why people wouldn't want that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, we did have Nemesis Prime and left a bad taste in our mouths. Unfortunately, last night as a whole did. I still love it. Still my second favorite Transformers movie. I think Rise of the Beast actually tops my number one right now. But like, they didn't have to like really super imply it or anything. They could just throw a few nuances. Maybe when he got his helmet or his mask knocked off, then you can see like a Bay versus Prime face, and people will be like, "Oh shit, it's Optimus from the Michael Bay." But then again, it would also be kind of confusing too because it's like you have Optimus with like the same sort of face.
Also, my thing is that like no one in the audience, like the general audience, would be like, "I don't get it."
General audience,
because they don't remember. Well, yeah, but in the end, they're there to sell, the movie for everyone, and they're not going to be like, oh, like it would have to be like, I don't know. I think a lot of fans would be like, oh, is he Optimus Prime?
No, I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying, like, for a Transformers fan perspective, I think that'd be really cool. For general audience, like, yeah, you'd probably have to go back and rewatch something, or even then, like, treat it like how cartoons would do that type of shit. Like the mask gets knocked off, it shows Scourge's real face being Bay versus Prime, and then Optimus is like, "This is impossible," and then Scourge gives a little bit of slight exposition with some previous scenes from the previous movies. Like, not like every fucking scene or anything, but like some of the key moments, like maybe Optimus's introduction to the 2007 universe, and then Dark of the Moon, then Age of Extinction /
Like, as cool as that would be, I think that would probably just throw everyone out of the scene of like, what the fuck's happening right now?
Probably,
like,
but at the same time, you can't. It is cool.
Oh yeah, I also like someone on a forum mentioned a cool idea that he's a movie verse Damus or Damus, how do you pronounce that? That like instead of being a DJD member, he's a Herald Unicron because he's the exact like kind of idea of like generic head design with a large scar on the right side. So I'm like, oh shit, that's actually like that's an idea that I can get behind. That's not going to be that's not the idea that is going to happen. That's not like legit, but that's something that I could get behind.
Right. Yeah, I mean they do share very similar aspects, like,
and also they're both helmets are the faction of
insignias. Yeah,
I'm so glad someone said that because I wanted to see that so bad.
I did too, but I also don't want to acknowledge that concept because it's like Scourge would just basically be knockoff Tarn, and it's like no one can top my boy. It will be cool.
Otherwise, I'll say like the head reveal was like I don't know. It was something for a second there. I almost thought it was Megatron for a second because you hear like sound cues that only Megatron really have when like the face is really revealed. And so I was like, oh, wait, no. But it turned out just I'm sure it's just sound cues are just used now for the bad guy. And overall, it's like I don't know, it's just a dude.
I mean, that's definitely a face.
Yeah, exactly. I guess like it's
real thing other than like, oh, it's MCU Ultron.
I see a lot of resemblance to that too. Yeah,
it's like, look, we got our Marvel Transformers crossover finally.
It is.
I don't know, man. I don't know how to feel about that. Like, if they did go there, I mean, honestly, I feel like I would kind of defeat the purpose too. But it's like I could see if the Bayverse Prime thing, since that got debunked, I could see Megatron get like reformatted into Scourge, kinda. But he's just a dude. Also, I really hate the marketing for this movie. I'm just gonna flat out say that they have shown.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Like, why?
Don't even get me started.
Like, you have almost the same amount of TV spots as TLK. Your featurettes are showing like pretty big like shock moments that the audience would probably prefer to see in theaters. Like the fucking voice cast featurette shows Scourge's face. Why are you showing that?
That's pretty mean. Yeah, especially like just a few days before release. Like that's rough. Like come on, guys.
Like no, like it's not Stephen Caple, it's not Michael Bay, Steven Spielberg, any of them. It's just the fucking marketing team. Like, what are they doing? How is this okay? It's like you might as well not even see the movie if that's right.
Thank God I didn't. Thank God I stopped watching everything after like a couple TV spots and just the first trailer.
Oh my God, yeah,
I watched everything, but I was still hyped nonetheless because I'm a Transformers fan. So I mean,
this is for sure like clear. And luckily, again, I was lucked out to seeing this whole thing early anyway. But like this is now confirmed. Like if I don't see the other one early, like the sequel they do. Like after the trailers, I'm just gonna have to just avoid everything.
Yeah.
Because Bumblebee, Last Night, and this movie all just kept showing stuff.
Yeah, Oh yeah, Bumblebee's marketing too. They might as well have just shown off. Actually, I'm pretty sure they did show.
They showed both death. Yeah.
They did.
I think so.
Well, I mean,
know they showed Dropkick. I know they showed Dropkick's death. I don't remember if they showed Shatter's death in it.
There was a TV spot where they showed Shatter's death.
There was.
Yeah.
Shit, I don't remember. I might have not seen it, so I might.
Like, and it is one of those ones that if you pause and look for it, you'll see it. But like for us fans, literally, that's all we do is pause and look for it. So
I know Blitzwings was shown.
Yeah, it's rough. Because and they have to keep showing new footage for new TV spots to get more. For all the randoms that do like watch on TV, like, oh, that looks cool. Like, oh, robots dying, awesome. But we who know and want to know about this movie are gonna be like, oh. I didn't want to see that.
Like, yeah, I get it. General audience appeal. You got to get that attraction, but like, dude, come on.
I didn't
Right.
want to see Bumblebee getting impaled by Scourge. That was not cool.
Yeah,
I mean,
they should've
I
saved that.
did because I thought that was fucking awesome and brutal, and I'm in for that shit. But at the same time, part of me is also kind of like, yeah, they probably shouldn't have shown this. Because then they literally later on the same trailer, they're like, oh, hey, Bumblebee's back, and he's missing his Autobot insignia. And it's like,
Yeah,
I didn't even
they-
notice that
this
at
character's
all.
going to die, and then he's going to come back. Like, no shock value. Just like, here he
They could
is.
have at least
Everyone
tweaked
loves
that.
Bumblebee. What?
They could at least tweaked the CG being just giving the Autobahn insignia on the
Yeah,
jump
like,
out of the ship.
dude, the last night did shit like that. Like, they kept
Yeah.
us on our yeah, it was deception, but they still kind of like did it in a way to be like, oh, so we think Optimus is evil and taking out the Infernicons. Like, but no.
I think it is actually. I think that's. I wonder because there was a recent movie that got completely sued because there was false advertising in the movie in the trailer. So I think now they actually I don't know if it's illegal or if they just fear to do that.
I think a lot of people were pushing for that because it's like ever since Avengers Endgame with like that giant shot at the end of the trailer with like all the Avengers, like everyone was kind of like, well, we didn't get to see this. This is bullshit. And then that's when they started to make that big push. So I'm kind of glad they're pushing for false advertising, but at the same time, it's gonna hurt the marketing of the movie either way. Like no matter what they do, either that or the marketing team needs to be like, we'll show a majority of the footage we've already seen. Throw in like one small snippet of a new scene with like maybe some dialogue, and then do that for like 10 TV spots, and then maybe just stop there. But no, they continue to like do that for like 3 TV spots, then new scenes, then new dialogue, then more new scenes, then more new dialogue. And it's like, yeah, they ruined Stratosphere's introduction.
They did?
Yeah, that would have been nice to see.
That fucking TikTok, Instagram reel, that was literally Stratosphere's introduction. Like, we didn't even get to get shocked by that. It's just like, oh, we see it online, but we don't get to see it in the movie until we go see the movie. And it's like, what the fuck? It just, that irks me, man. That really irks me. And like, the whole, like, scene with the Terracons transforming to their vehicle modes. Like, not all of them were shown. We only got to see Nightbird and, well, we didn't get to really see Nightbird, but we got to see Battletrap transform and Scourge partially transform. So that was kind of cool, but at the same time,
speaking of transformations, like I noticed did we notice that they technically the media one of the TV spots or trailers showed a shot that wasn't in the movie, like when Air Razor when Nightbird transforms and after getting hit by who? A rock, a random rock.
Our favorite character, the Rock Lord.
Yeah, the Rock. Yeah, she she
does like that side tumble, and like we don't see that in the final cut.
Yeah, they showed it but like at a different angle, so I think it's kind of interesting how like just randomly showed a whole different shot.
I mean, I kind of want to see that like whole slow motion transformation, then see her like tumble, and then cut it at a different angle where she's still tumbling and like gets damaged, but. Yeah, that was weird. I also, another thing that kind of bothers me, and I know why they did it, is that they had to redo the entire final battle scene from the teaser to the final trailer or whatever. Is it wrong? I would have preferred the teaser trailer final battle because I think that kind of looked a little bit cooler.
Honestly, so interesting fact, my ending battle looked a lot like the official cut. I think they made that shot specifically for the teaser trailer. Because even the chain, like having the swords connected with Primal, like swords having connected with the chain, I think that was never in my cut. So I totally think they just made it up for just entertainment value.
Yeah, but I think the transformation in that one looked a lot better than what we got in the final cut.
I agree. I think having Primal's face just be like his gorilla face covered in armor is a little weird for me.
Well, I mean, okay, no, I sort of agree with that too, but at the same time, that is kind of a way to like merge the ideas of like Primal's design from Beast Wars with like the new, the new design for Optimus Primal, and I'm fine with that. It does look a little weird, but like it does combine the two elements of transformation because Primal's transformation is literally gorilla head goes into chest and then robot mode head gets flipped out, whereas this one is like they found a way to kind of merge the two, and I'm kind of all right with it for the most part, but I don't know, something about him just like running and like his face transforming into like the robot mode face while his body does like the traditional Beast Wars transformation just looked kind of goofy. Like the Beast Wars transformation was cool, but just the whole like having him have his battle mask already was kind of weird. Oh, doggos are barking.
Oop.
So, you know, that was a bit wonky for me personally. Like, it was a cool transformation. I just prefer the one we got in the teaser trailer where it's like he's jumping, he roars, transforms to robot mode as he's like somersaulting, and then gets back on his feet and charges towards Battletrap and Nightbird and everyone. That's just me.
Yeah, I think overall both are cool. Also, did like speaking of the whole thing, like covering like all like the bits covering his gorilla face. Did you see for a second like his gorilla face like while he's fighting, the mask is off, so he has just the gorilla face in his robot mode?
Repeat that again. I kind of zoned out for a little bit.
Like there's a quick second that like they're cutting through like just scenes of everyone fighting, and there's a shot of Optimus Primal fighting with some Terracons, and his battle mask was like off, so like it was just the gorilla like face.
Oh yeah.
But
actually, it wasn't I think it was actually just his robot mode face, because it's like he does have like a proper looking mouth with like the little.
Yeah, and that was like in the toys and stuff,
and like his Beast Wars design, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's it. Like, but that's it. Like I think for the toys that's how it is, but I think in that shot it's just his gorilla face. Like I saw a nose and everything. I think that other face was just something that was either concept art or just cut. I don't know.
It's interesting. I mean, I kind of liked it. You got to see like his actual robot mode head with like the slit and everything, like how traditional Optimus Primal would look. But yeah. Oh God, there's so much to talk about this movie. The transformations, there were so many of them, and I'm so happy about that.
Oh yeah,
that's something that the Michael Bay universe really failed to capitalize on.
Yeah, they just started like the late movies for Michael Bay. They just started doing it in the background. It's kind of rough.
Yeah, lame. It's like that's what we want to see. We want to see like actual transformations on screen. I will admit, I'm disappointed that we never got to see like vehicle to robot transformations. At least not many for like. I guess Battletrap was the only one to really not transform from vehicle to robot.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And then,
I mean, there's also the big one outlier is Air Razor.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't know why they decided to make her just a bird.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. I'm really hoping there's concept art, because like I'm sure in the next like month or two we'll start getting all that concept art that starts pouring out.
I'm pretty sure the Studio Series toy is like, even though it is a heavy remold of the Kingdom design, it's the Optimus Primal, Rhinox, and Cheetor have been relatively faithful. I wouldn't be surprised if that's her robot mode.
I hope so.
I really do want to see like a CG render of it, because like that would be a really cool design to see. Also, these movies really love to disrespect famous people.
Yeah.
Poor Michelle Yeoh, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, how must you be for an actor in any caliber, whether it's movies, TV shows, like just anything like that? You're like told, okay, this is your character, you're gonna play them, then they're gonna die.
I mean, that's pretty much my YouTube career.
I mean, I'm pretty sure she's like, great, where's the script? I'm pretty sure she's like, oh, cool, all right, awesome.
She did a good job.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
I really loved her as Air Razor. I hate her pronunciation of the name, though. It kind of bothers me.
Dogs
are barking again. Liza Koshy also did a similar pronunciation like Michelle Yeoh did, where she just said like Air Razor. Like, no, it's just Air Razor. One word.
I didn't pick up on that.
I did, because
neither did I really.
My brain is picky like that. But yeah, that always bothered me. Like Primal, I think is the only one to say. Primal and Elena are the only one to actually say Air Razor's name properly. But that's just me. Speaking of names being said, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go.
I was just gonna say, speaking of names being said properly and everything, Why the hell did Optimus keep calling Bumblebee B the whole time? That felt really uncomfortable.
That felt weird.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I didn't notice it until you said that, actually.
Like, why? He says Bumblebee's name at least once every movie in full name without B.
I mean,
Like-
I would have preferred maybe saying it once or twice, but at the same time, it's like you don't have to say that every single
couldn't-
time, do you?
Like, he couldn't have said, "This is for Bumblebee." Like, that would have been cooler, but like,
Yes,
you're
it
making
would have.
sound like weird, and it's like, "This is for B." I'm like, come on.
You know,
why?
if we want to give a canon explanation, maybe he's like still trying to warm up to saying his name because he's known him for the longest time as B127. So maybe he's just having a rough time trying to connect to that.
Forgetting about that whole thing of like Bumblebee not having a real name until Charlie named him.
Which I did like that there was a name, like not name drop, but they didn't mention that like that.
Yeah,
know
I
it was
completely forgot about that. Jesus.
Well, now I actually feel okay with it.
I kind of sort of am too, but like, why would you not like? That just bothers me. It feels uncomfortable. Like when I want Optimus to say Bumblebee, like just say Bumblebee, like at least once. But maybe he'll say it in the next movie. I don't know. That just felt really weird. Like it's not like Optimus to really use like nicknames for characters like that.
No, it's weird.
For sure, though.
Well, I mean, unless you refer to Prime, where he calls Raphael Raph. So
Well, no, I thought Prime always called him Raphael.
No, he called him Raph on occasion.
For a second, I tuned into that conversation, and I'm like, wait, what TFTC crossover did I miss? What's going on here?
No.
But yeah, that just felt weird, like, because he says it every fucking time. Like, even...
Yeah, that made me so uncomfortable.
Like, say it once during the fight with Scourge on the hillside, which, by the way, that was a cool fight. That's something we don't really get.
That was so awesome. Like, they literally were just like they were all just like tumbling down a freaking mountain.
Yeah, I was so excited to see that finished. That was a really cool, because they had that kind of all organized by that point in my cut. So seeing that all together, I'm like, oh, yes. Yes. But
like in the museum fight, he couldn't have said like Bumblebee, something like that. Like, come on, it's just weird. I don't know.
Speaking of museum fight, isn't it great that we have a Primus name drop?
Holy shit,
yeah.
That was like big. It's like
that was a line because that was in my cut too, and I was so begging that they keep that. I'm so glad they did.
Oh man, that was first off, that was just a badass line by Scourge.
Yeah,
I love that. It's like.
And it makes sense. Like, of course, someone like him would say that.
That's so cool. That's such a cool line. That really digs at Optimus, and I could see where a lot of that anger for Optimus comes from to Scourge later. On top of him, killing Bumblebee, but like, I loved that. That really kind of drew a lot of like where the source of the anger towards Scourge came from. Like you're not only insulting Optimus, but you're insulting his god. You're insulting the lineage of the Primes. Like, you done fucked up, dude. Like, yeah, you may be affiliated with the Antichrist, but like, you don't mess with the lineage.
Yeah, which I will say it kind of made Optimus seemed a little bit too constantly like angry and nasty. Like with that being like being against humans and also just like being purely just upset of the situation. And I understand why, but it just kind of makes Optimus the whole time be like, screw it all. I'm always yelling. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to rip off your head. And I'm like, man, there's a lot going on. Like, all right, calm down, Prime, calm down.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot more brutality from Optimus in this than like previous install. Like, he is very much similar to his Bayverse incarnation. And I'm actually all for it. I really do like it, but he's also still growing to that Optimus Prime that we know and love. Because it's like, he does become a little bit softer later, so it's not like it's completely betrayed the character. But I do love how like brutal he can be. Like, it's really cool to kind of see an angry Prime. Like, we sort of got some of it in the Michael Bay universe a little bit. Like, I think where it really showed, and it's funny because me and Rebecca, we talked about it earlier. Mainly she brought it up, but I was thinking it as well. Age of Extinction really portrayed Uh-oh.
Oh,
What?
Hang on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. On my side, I froze. I don't know what's going on. But either way, me and Rebecca were talking about it earlier. Oh, now it fixes itself. And we were saying that, like, Age of Extinction really showed, like, an animistic, and like a, is that a word?
Animosity.
Whatever. It showed a lot of animosity towards Optimus, and I really enjoyed that, and I thought it was a kind of a neat little callback to that in a way. Like, yeah, new take and everything. Prime feels the burden of not being able to protect his home world and it being overrun by Decepticons. But the whole thing of, like, him being so against humans is very reminiscent to Age of Extinction, and I absolutely love that. Because it's something that we don't really get to see that often. And I talked about this on Instagram too, is like in G1, when they first meet the humans, immediately it's like Superman mode. Let's go save them because they're innocent beings. But in this universe, in these live action films, we get to see Optimus witness the true colors of humans, or at least some of the humans. And then he begins to feel alienated by the species and begins to, like, resent them and basically borderline hate them for the shit that they're doing to his family. And I think it's really cool to see that kind of development carry over to this movie, because they've been stuck on Earth for 7 years. They have had no way to get home. Prime has literally been living with this grief of losing the battle on Cybertron and being away from home for so long that he has such anger and such burden on himself. He feels like he really failed. He really messed up. And you see a lot of that throughout the movie, through little lines, through his body language, like even him just being angry in general towards, like, small annoyances, like, and I hate to say it because it's the only small annoyance, but at least in terms of his kind, Mirage, like, he's really kind of aggressive, like passive aggressive towards Mirage.
You're like,
And,
way to
like,
be
obviously-
incognito.
I love that scene so much. And, like, he's also very, like, passive aggressive and almost, you know, has, like, an animosity towards Noah. But again, that's because he doesn't really want to affiliate with the humans just yet. He has to learn to work with them. So I'm kind of glad we get to see that development, and it does show throughout the film, because that's what leads to the big climactic scene of, like, you know, Noah fighting with Optimus against Scourge.
Which is
So
awesome.
I think they handled it really well for the most part. You were saying, Cyborg?
Oh yeah, no, and I was like, which is also an awesome scene of Optimus and Noah together.
Yeah.
Like, I do like the symbolism, like, and they do it a lot in this movie of, like, oh, like, teamwork, especially, like, you know, the Till All Are One, and everyone's doing, like, Human, Autobot, Maxwell all together. Like, that's good.
That's beautiful. Also, just still on the topic of Optimus, this dude has jokes.
Yeah.
He actually has, like, a couple of good jokes.
I'm not letting you go to that drive-in theater anymore. That hurt me in my soul. Like, how could you, like, just discipline your son like that, basically?
I had to like watch it online just to, because I didn't see it in the theaters, or at least I wasn't paying attention because my focus was on Optimus. But you can see the visual disappointment from Bumblebee.
Yeah, God, it's beautiful.
And you hear his, like, little whine going, "Rrr." Like, poor guy. And everyone probably knows about this scene at this point because we saw it in the TV spot. Thanks a lot. The scene with Battletrap's death, I did not see that coming.
Oh God, that was hilarious. Like
the
line,
that one. I love it. Like, I just fucking love it. Like, Primal, like, first off, that whole fight, even though it was, like, very short-lived, just like him, I loved it. Like, Primal grabs onto the mace and, like, you want to fight? You got one. Then Optimus is like, he cuts off Battletrap's arm. Primal rips it off, and Scourge writhes in pain pretty bad. And it's like, okay, wow, holy shit. Battletrap.
Yeah.
Sorry. What did I say?
Which was
You said Scourge.
Meant to say Battletrap.
That scene was weird in my cut because Primal, like, was alone. Like, there was no Optimus there, so that joke was completely gone at that point.
He was supposed to go mono a mono.
Yep.
Dang.
Damn, that would have been cooler. But either way, so, like, Prime cuts off, like, Primal rips off Battletrap's arm. Prime cuts off his leg, like Mortal Kombat style, And right as Optimus is about to get the finishing blow, Primal just bashes Scourge. I almost said Scourge again. Bashes Battletrap's head in with his own mace, only to deliver the line, "He was mine." Then there's a little laugh from Primal. I love that, man. That felt like a Saturday morning cartoon type quip. It was so fun. Not again. Come on. Am I here?
You're good. Yeah, you're good.
Okay. I wasn't sure because everything's going quiet and I don't know what's connection and what's not connection. But I love that. I will say, in terms of deaths and everything, I feel like... See, I'm kind of torn between, I feel like, who went out the weakest. Because I'm not sure if I want to say Nightbird or well, honestly, Nightbird or Scourge. Maybe Battletrap too, but I feel like Battletrap put up more of a fight.
I think I guess I would have to say Nightbird. Like I think she she left herself open going to scare this guy and like pretty much grappled her, and then I mean Scourge, who has no cares about Nightbird, blasting at her, and then just if anything helping B blow her up. I think like she didn't give up much of the fight because she kind of threw herself in that situation.
What is with Bumblebee's kills? Everyone has to explode.
Because it's raw and awesome.
I don't know, man. I feel like it's kind of a cop-out. It's like, with Blitzwing, I can see because he basically impaled a missile onto Blitzwing's chest in his movie. Dropkick, I can't see. Like, you're actually going to sit there and tell me a helicopter or a chain at a dock wrapped around Dropkick being pulled apart is what causes and kills him? Hang on. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say
my connection is doing. And then
Rebecca's not here. It's just us.
No, what'd you say?
I'm just saying, like Rebecca, she's not here. Oh, is she here? She's not here for me. Oh, there she is.
Oh,
no, she just joined. Also, there's no delay. Great.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Great.
Connections. Why? Spectrum sucks. I just gotta say that Spectrum sucks. Ever since I upgraded my equipment, they've been like my phone pops off on itself, like it gets kicked off the internet, and it's annoying. But
so what did I miss?
Oh, we're just talking about like who went out the weakest out of the Terracons. Yeah. Because I was talking about that, and I was saying Cyborg said Nightbird. I'm torn between. Now that I'm thinking about it, actually, it'll probably be between Battletrap and Nightbird because Scourge was actually putting up a pretty good fight.
No, I would say, honestly, I would say Battletrap was not the weakest.
I think Nightbird.
No, she went out awesome.
You liked that?
That was cool!
I won't deny it's cool, but it's weak. Like, you bring in a character like her and you make her go out like a bitch?
Wow.
Dude, I'm not kidding. I hate the deaths in Bumblebee. Like, immensely. Blitzwings I was fine with because it's like, oh, like I was saying, Bumblebee impaled him with a missile. It got stuck on his chest, brought out his stinger blaster, shot him, he blew up. Right? That's believable. That's fine for the most part. Dropkick, you mean to tell me that a chain wrapped around him and being pulled like he's a fucking reject yo-yo is what kills him? Oh, and let's not forget Shatter, who just got smushed by a fucking boat.
Wow, you are really salty about this.
I fucking hate that. It's such a cop-out. Like, you couldn't have done anything. Like, we didn't even get to see Nightbird use all her...
I mean, for Bumblebee, I'll say, like, it's a kid's movie. I don't expect Bumblebee to grab, like, Dropkick Spark, lick it, and blow it up in front of his eyes.
I'm not saying, like, I want anything Mortal Kombat worthy. I'm just saying, I'm not making these fucking characters go out like bitches. Like, okay, Dropkick had a good fight scene with Bumblebee. Cool. So did Shatter. But the execution is just so simple, and it's not believable. Like, okay, it's also, like, comic book logic, cartoon logic, whatever, you know. But it's like, you couldn't have had... I don't know, like they're in the air, okay, right? Maybe have Nightbird deliver like a swift kick somehow to let go of Bumblebee. Bumblebee starts falling again. Nightbird then grabs him, slams him into the ground like she did with Mirage. And then just have like a cool like mono fight where like Nightbird whips out her swords and like she starts to go at Bumblebee. You know, like
I would like to use. Wish there was more swords there.
To what?
I wish there was more sword play for her. She didn't really use the swords.
Because like you see her bring them out, and then she does like one or two things with them, very minute. Like you see her do it up against Rhinox and Primal. But then after that, it's like, oh, she's just holding them because Lady Ninja Robot, like she's supposed to be, right? Like, come on. You're supposed to actually make us believe Bumblebee killed her by grabbing one of her own wings and just stabbing her in the chest, and her just spontaneously combusting.
Yeah, like that part, I will say, that part confused me. Like, he just stabs her. That's like, 2000s, car explosion logic.
It's the shit I'm pissed off about. Like, it's Nightbird. This is an experienced warrior in the Transformers universe. Like, okay, yeah, she was a robot made by Dr. Fujiyama in the G1 cartoon, but she still had, like, all the ninja knowledge and, like, martial arts skills and everything. Show us that! You know, like, she didn't get to really do much. Like, she picked up Mirage and threw him on the ground. Cool. She detonated a grenade. She fell. Oh my god, so exciting. She got hit by a rock, transformed, and fell. Like, give us some more. Like, what the fuck? You can't bring in a character like her and do nothing with her. Like, Cyberverse did more with Nightbird.
Oof. True.
Oof. Wow.
And it's like, I don't really care that deeply about Nightbird, but if you're going to bring in such like a nuanced, obscure character like that to the big screen, make her appearance worth it other than being female robot eye candy. It pisses me off. Like, it was a cool scene. I like how it got synced to LL Cool J's Mama Said Knock You Out. But, like, she went out like a bitch. It pisses me off so bad. Like, damn it.
It's okay. It's okay. She can't hurt you anymore.
Why have they got to do these
over.
characters dirty? Scourge's final fight was cool, though.
Oh, yeah. Bayverse Prime with me proud.
Who's to say this isn't Bayverse Prime? No, I'm not going to open up that can of worms. Comment section, don't come after me.
Someone actually, speaking of comment section, someone mentioned this, and I want to explain the scene. So the transit scene that got cut. So like my original opening for the movie that wasn't the Maxwell Planet. Again, that was moved to Airrazor's introduction at the museum. My original cut was like you see the stars, and as the camera pans through the stars, it transitions to the wet streets of New York. And Optimus Prime is like doing his monologue. It's like it's been 7 years, and like we're trying to find a way off this planet and back home. And like the Decepticons keep finding us, but now the hunted have become the hunters. And as he drives like on a bridge into a bus lot, which you see the driving like Optimus Prime on a bridge, you see that in the teaser trailer. That's from the transit scene. He drives to a bus lot. And then again, in the movie that you see it when he's like transformed for the first time, he's walking through buses. That is the transit scene.
I knew it.
But they cut it to splice it with him finding the transwarp like activation. And so like
transwarp beacon.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And so like when so he transforms. It's kind of rainy. He has his fist gets clenched like in the movie, and then he's like, "I know you're here." And then all the buses are silent, but the one with the Decepticon symbol on the grill slowly pulls in and transforms, and transit's revealed. And he's like, "You can't fight us all, Prime. We'll get you eventually." And the fight ensues. And it's crazy. There's a part where Optimus grabs Transit's head and rams it into another bus, and like he grinds Transit's head throughout the inner side of the bus. Like all the seats get ripped into his head. And the fights, and then like Optimus brings it a stalemate. And he's like, "Where's your ship, Decepticon?" And he's like, "Ha! like, you fool, we blew up our ships just for the satisfaction of knowing that you'll never get off this dirt planet Prime. And then this pisses off Prime. He pulls out the axe and he kills him in a way that I don't remember. And then it cuts to Optimus Prime monologuing again about we still fight, but we will find a way home eventually. And he's dragging Transit's body, and then he drops into the Hudson River. And as it drifts down, there's a bunch of other Khan bodies. And for me, it was just a bunch of generic Khans. There's no specific designs. But it shows that Prime's been doing this for a long time. That the Decepticons have somehow they found a way to Earth, and there's all slowly trickling in to find Optimus and kill him. But he keeps trying to kill them instead, and he's just trying to get up home. Oh, also, I forgot to mention the part where Transit shows him in that stalemate. Transit's Cybertron's ours, and he shows a hologram of some Autobot prisoners back on Cybertron. Don't worry, Optimus will be here, and then all the Decepticons execute them.
Oh shit!
So yeah, it's a dark scene, which is why it was cut. So I
would have loved to see that. That would have been cool.
Honestly, and I think they should have kept this. They shouldn't. I don't mean replace the maximal opening. I think they should have gone a maximal opening, then into this Optimus scene, and then to Noah, because then it would make it more clear that this is a story. This movie's main character is both Optimus and Noah. And so you see both their stories, both their griefs, and then they get together. So I think, and also this would have just piled on more of why Optimus is so. He's risking so much just to get home. He will that's his priority, because he's seeing his soldiers die for his name, and so it's all his fault. The way he sees it, it's his fault. So it sucks that scene was cut, because I think that scene would have totally made Optimus a lot of people would probably made him think he's the main character in this movie, than Noah.
Right.
And it's just a bit of a shame. And also, we know that it's confirmed that Stephen Campbell Jr. will release this scene. He won't release the scene of the Khan body pile up, but he will, I assume, either in an extended cut or a deleted scene bonus feature. We will see this when this hits home.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, because he did say the transit scene is going to be part of the deleted scene, so I'm glad we're going to be able to see that. Albeit, if it's finalized or not, that's completely up to them. I doubt it's going to be finalized. I feel like it's going to be.
I think, from what I saw, my cut, that scene was the most finalized of my version. So that scene was ready to go. Okay. I think we're going to see a lot. I think that scene's going to be a good portion of it will be fully finished and ready. Because I think they should.
Go ahead.
Oh, you go on.
No, you first.
I'll finish my thought. I think they should not do deleted scenes. If they really, I think to really make this movie build more, they should have that scene built in as an extended version, to build the film more. Right? Because Jurassic World recently did that too.
Release the
cable cut, and because Jurassic World's extended version adds a lot to that movie too. So I think that Rise of the Beasts will just benefit just as much for an extended edition than, and also that'll be the first time Transformers movies get that. So
yeah, I mean, we could have got it with The Last Night, and I mean, would have been almost
true
a movie.
But I think that was a lot of that was mostly concept art. I don't think a lot of it actually really.
I don't know, because there were scenes that were filmed behind the scenes with Bumblebee, Crosshairs, Hot Rod, and Drift in Europe, in England, driving and rubble falling and shit like that.
I don't remember Crosshairs and Drift in Europe.
I know Drift. I think it was Drift, or it was Bumblebee. I know it was Bumblebee. It was either Drift, Crosshairs, or Hound, or two of those guys. I don't fully remember, but I do remember there was a scene with them driving in vehicle mode. There was rubble falling, and they had that. Plus, we were supposed to have the USS Alliance be a Cybertronian.
Oh, yeah, Transformer. Yeah, that concept art was revealed in that book, right?
Mm-hmm. Her robot.
Yeah, that was cool. Speaking of cutout footage, the behind-the-scenes shot of Optimus clashing the Scourge to a wall, that was never seen.
Yeah, that was filmed in Cusco too, wasn't it?
Yeah, they filmed and broke walls and everything. What happened there?
Seriously?
I don't know. Now that I think about how that scene would work, I could see that slightly take place after the tumble on the hill. If they didn't go on the bridge, I could see them still tumbling down towards the city of Cusco.
More city-state? Yeah.
Yeah. I think that'd be kind of cool, actually. Maybe
that whole scene for me was a lot longer because like when Noah is when him and Elena they're looking for the key, and then the freezer comes and they blast the freezer. There was supposed to be a whole extra like action sequence of Cheetor and Rhinox in the caverns chasing Noah and Elena. Like they think they're intruders.
Oh.
And we see that in the teaser trailer, the Rhinox roar. That was in that version.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's just a lot of like small things.
Yeah, because I could see that whole scene play out with like, now that I'm thinking about it, with them tumbling down the hill. I could see like Prime transform back into truck mode. Scourge is kind of like holding on to him, like how Galvatron did with Ultra Magnus in one of the Marvel UK comics.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it was Target 2006. And like Prime is just like flooring it down towards Cusco. And then maybe that the whole truck prop for Scourge was just that, maybe like a place-in for like his robot mode or something. And then I could see like Prime just bust into a wall with Scourge on his on the front of his truck mode and like send Scourge slightly flying. Prime transforms. They have like another battle there.
That would be sick.
Right?
Yeah. I wonder why that was decided to be removed. Probably because it was just something they had to cut.
I don't know.
It's astounding that they would cut like something like, because that I'm sure costs a lot of money. So I'm surprised all things they cut, they do that one.
With the rig on top of the prop for Scourge's truck mode, on top of Prime ramming into it, which that's like what, couple $1,000?
I'm sure. Not much like not much like voices were cut too. Like Rhinox he had a line.
That bothered me
be a
so
big line
bad.
too.
Like David Sobolov was really excited for people to hear Rhinox, but I
can
already tell it might have sounded like a deeper version of like Blitzwing, maybe.
It was like super deep. Like there was because Optimus Prime had this crazy speech that I'm glad they cut, because it just seemed like his character, like, because in my cut he hated humans for the majority of the movie until like Noah doesn't blow up the key, and then he says all these things like humans are worth protecting. Bumblebee was right. He actually did say Bumblebee, not B. And like he's like we must protect this planet and humans at all costs. And it was just so out of left field that I'm glad it changed to like what we have instead of like just them making a plan. Because I'll say like there was a line where after Optimus Prime did the weird speech, like he says like for Cybertron, Primal says for Earth, and then Rhinox goes for home, and then they all like look at him like, whoa, you talk, and again.
So I guess Rhinox is like a secret badass of the Maximals, just being silent.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh, another scene that got cut out from the teaser. The underground shot with Rhinox.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Because that was supposed to be, the whole shot of like Cheetor and Rhinox was supposed to chase Elena and Noah underground after the freezer.
I must have zoned out slightly. My bad.
Yeah, you're good. But yeah, they totally cut out a whole scene of like the Maximals chasing the human characters in this cavern. Because there was a part where like Rhinox like he pushes them into a crevice and like he can't get through. Like he's like pushing hard, he can't get through, and he goes away, and then that's when they're like, you gotta slip through, and then they slip outside, and that's when Primal comes in.
It would have been cool to actually see that scene actually happen, though, because that was like a very reminiscent, like Rhinox maximize type scene, but no, they cut it out.
Yeah, and also, one line that they cut out during the big battle for Cheetor was Cheetor calls Primal big bot. That's just a shame.
God damn it!
Yeah, like there's like Primal, like they're in robot mode at this point, like they're like Primal's leading the charge for a second, like this is like in the middle of the battle, and Cheer's behind me, he's like, I'm right behind you, boss bot or big bot, and I'm like, that was a cool line, and it's gone.
That a lot of Beast Wars fans would really enjoyed that.
Absolutely, and also my cut made it clear that the Scorponauts were Predacons, like it wasn't just like random Terracon upper soldiers, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they land and Noah's like, what the hell are those things? And Primal just goes, Predacons. And so yeah, there's a bunch of small nitpicks that wouldn't have really ruined the movie. It would have enhanced the fans a little bit more.
Moments that would have been nice to see, but unfortunately got cut because they didn't want to have a 2 hour-long Transformers movie because look what happened last time.
Yeah, true. Like I guess people when they see like a long Transformers movie, they start to go, oh, another one.
I mean, when we first talked about it, when you got all this information from your test screening, I even flat out asked you, it's like TOK 2.0, isn't it?
For a bit. I would say the version we have now, I think as a movie is like leagues better. Characters just be better. Also, I hated Mirage in my original cut. I don't know who voiced him, but he said some shit that was just so exhaustingly annoying. Like he just wasn't funny, and I hated it. I'm like, God, it sucks because he's gonna be like the main Autobot. So Pete Davidson must have ad-libbed so much lines because he's a way better in our official cut. Oh my God,
I love
we dodged the bullet.
Mirage. Like I've said it before on streams on Instagram with when talking about Mirage as a character, he really feels like a more tamer, more respected version of like Mudflap and Skids from Revenge of the Fallen, because he's not trying to be like stereotypically racist, but Pete Davidson is basically like, for lack of better words that fail me right now, he's like a white guy trying to be like a black guy.
You know what I mean? And I bet for sure it's also because of the fact that like with a lot of people of color like work on this movie, like you'll get that feeling.
Yeah. Because he gives off kind of like Eminem vibes with like how he talks, like, you know, he kind of talks street and everything like that. He has like a kind of voice. You know what I mean?
And I think that's also Pete Davidson. I think he's also just that kind of person too.
No, but that's what I mean, right? Like you get that similar vibe. It's like, So, but I do love him. Also, this scene makes me just chuckle every fucking time. But like after Noah and Chris have a nice heart-to-heart, I just love Maraud's random like exclamation of like, kids got heart. Muy Quijón es grande. Or Quijón es muy grande. Like that's just great. That's funny.
Also, I think the line there's that line he says too. He's like, "Dude, you've been inside me," which is hilarious.
Friends? Dude, you were inside me. Got the whole theater cracked up.
I'm disappointed by the one line that got cut out between Wheeljack and RC, though.
I was gonna say that's a good transition because Wheeljack and RC had a lot more like scenes together because they were like in a relationship. Like when they land, RC like I think Wheeljack and Mirage is like, oh great, Wheeljack's coming, and she gets flustered like, oh, Wheeljack's coming, and like she gets a little like embarrassed, and then like he shows up, you know, and it's just like how he saw it, and then like while they're waiting for Elena and Noah to like leave the cave, she's like, so Wheeljack, it's been a while since we've been on a mission together. He's like, oh yeah, it's been a while since you've been inside of me. I mean, and like, you know, that's where the big joke happens, and I think that's the line. So that's the line I specifically like leaked. That to be fair, I didn't try to leak it. I told that to someone, and that person got posted online.
Don't look at me.
And then that. Oh no, yeah, I'm sure it was you. But so that got out there, and I think like I'm sure maybe a representative saw that got leaked and that no one liked it, and so you know it just got removed entirely.
Huh? At least like your name wasn't dropped or anything, because I wasn't worried about it, but yeah, I think that just helped remove that entire scene. And so I guess they just like if no one likes it, we'll just cut the whole thing entirely. I mean, I can understand why they wouldn't like it either, because it's like Michael Bay movies did like sexual innuendo jokes a lot too, so it's kind of probably just be reminded of like that universe when they're trying to like kind of steer away from it now.
Yeah, for sure.
I kind of wanted them to keep in that line because
I'd rather have something than Wheeljack just being there. He says a line and then that's it. Like he really wasn't like all. It's funny because it's a whole year of people getting mad about this design change. And in the end, he just shows up, and that's it. Like he doesn't do anything crazy.
Nope.
So like everyone complained for no reason then. No. There is one small gag. Sorry, I was going to cut you off. There's one more gag. I just want to. I really wish they kept it. Hopefully they do deleted scenes.
So when this one, maybe I don't think you told me.
I think I did. So Wheeljack, like they're all looking at this the city of Cusco. And Wheeljack's he's zooming in and showing like where they need to go, and he hands his glasses to Optimus, and Optimus wears the glasses.
Oh.
And like he zooms in, and so you just get a good look of Optimus wearing glasses, and I just love that. And it's a shame because I remember I told some people like that's gonna happen. It's gonna be hilarious, and it didn't. So now I'm like, fuck. I really hope that stays into the deleted scenes because like that was just even it being just previs, it was hilarious to look at. And I'm sad that they missed it.
Just Optimus looking like a dork.
Yeah, he kind of just looked like a dad. Like, oh, it's like it's dad. Dad Optimus is little kids.
What am I looking at here?
It's so oh man, it's a shame. Other than that, like
Kids call on me, maybe.
not to mention like so what a pointless thing to give the fans for a second the ear fins. Even
Yeah, I
now,
wanted
like
to talk about that, right? Because like
yeah,
I love that there is an absolute uproar about Wheeljack doesn't look like Wheeljack. He doesn't got the head fins and everything. I don't know why I'm making people sound southern. Probably because I'm in Florida. But like, I love how people made a big uproar about it, and in this, essentially, the people behind the movie kind of trolled everyone because you literally just see them in one scene and then never again.
yeah. God, what was? Do you think that they were just gonna add it for the entire time of the battle and they just didn't have the time to do it? So they just kind of like let's just have that scene and maybe no one will talk about it. It's so bizarre.
I do it. I feel like people are just way too entitled to like what their characters are supposed to look like nowadays. Like they have this mentality now because even though yes, while the whole thing with Sonic the Hedgehog's live action film was a test from Sega themselves to see how dedicated the fan base is, everyone now has this entitlement of like, if you change a character, we're coming after you. We will bully you into submission until you change and follow our demands. And it's like, you're not always gonna win that, you know. And,
yeah, and
the thing about Transformers 2, right, is they have to change, not just their forms, but their designs. And I've preached this several times as well. The personality is what stands out more than the character. And in my personal opinion, albeit Wheeljack not being an inventor, he is still a butt of science and like history, and like he's very high intellect. I think they captured him pretty well, albeit very uniquely.
yeah, I wish there was more to it. Like because to be fair, that's the problem is that we only just have like one line of him. Like and it's more like if anything, you kind of more reminded me of Beachcomber, of like a chill dude with glasses who just loves unity and the serenity of the place.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
I was thinking more Perceptor for some reason because that seems more Perceptor's field as well because he really likes science and stuff.
That's the thing. Like, it was so generic. It could have been anyone really, but that's the thing. You only have that line, and then like, hey, follow me. Here's the city, and then that's it. That's it. Like, and then he's blasting. He's not like doing anything crazy invention or anything. He's just blasting. So it's just again, it's just funny that like all this uproar for a character, and they don't lead anywhere. I'm sure people,
again, for lack of a better way, they basically spit in everyone's faces.
Yeah, pretty much.
But at the same time,
because
something new, and it's not a bad thing because that's what Transformers should be doing, is trying to experiment more and like figuring out what works and what doesn't. And even though people may not like this, they have to understand that this is just part of the franchise. This is nothing new. This shit happens all the time. Like, why get angry?
All the time.
Why not just have fun with it?
Do you think they're going to? Because like, as long as Lorenzo Di Bonaventura is attached, this movie will forever just kind of still feel like a prequel to him at least. Do you think that they're going to lead this design becoming like pre-Q?
I could kind of see that actually. And speaking of Lorenzo, I know a lot of people, including myself, have given that guy a lot of shit because, like, especially with how he goes back and forth between. Well, actually, no, he doesn't really go back and forth, but he's like dead set on believing that like every single Transformers movie is connected. People need to understand that that's his perspective. He's worked on these films since 2007.
Yeah, I'll say like the only problem is that like his word has a lot of power. Like if he says it's a prequel, like there's a lot of like like it's gonna end up being a prequel. Like to me the best way I would put this movie right now, like I'll say this will change because they're making 2 sequels. But as of right now, I had to put where this is in the argument of timeline, continuity, reboot, yada yada. Is I think that this universe is a parallel timeline that got switched off the board. Like kind of like pretty much. I think the Unicron that we see is the Unicron from the last night. That is a bad, like the bad ending. He won, and that years later he finds a Transformer race that that knew about Optimus Prime, named characters after Optimus Prime. And they teleported to the past away, leaving Unicron in this universe that he consumed everything, and he's now starving.
So
now,
sorry, finish what you're saying. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I think, like when the Maximals went back in time, it's a ripple effect. Just that alone had just changed things just slightly. Where the universe, like the characters are still there, but now things are just slightly different because of this event.
So you're on the Unicron being like a multiversal singularity type thing.
I think in this case, I think just to make it to where you can have your cake and eat it too, it would be a cool way to have it to where this Unicron would be like being the same Unicron of last night. Like especially because like it made it very clear that they're from like the Maximals, and that scene in the beginning is from the future.
Mm-hmm.
So you can why not just say like, yeah, that's Unicron. Like Optimus Prime, I named myself after Optimus Prime. He was a great leader. He failed, and so I use my name in his honor. And also, not to mention that like even Primal's like, this isn't the Optimus I expected. Like because he isn't, because the times changed. You changed the timeline, Primal, and now this Optimus Prime's a bit different and a bit hangry. You can have it that way too, of like these characters are now slightly changed, and also that's why you can have your reboot and keep the same design. Like, oh, it looks just like this because this is a slightly altered timeline. You can still do anything now.
That's kind of a similar mindset to what I've had, because it's like I grew up with the Unicron trilogy, right? So Unicron was always the big bad from Armada to Energon and the aftermath of Cybertron, because Cybertron is basically what happened is like parallel universe reset to, like, we still have Hotshot, Optimus, and Red Alert. We didn't have them in Energon. Well, we had Optimus and Hotshot, but we didn't have Red Alert. But like the threat of Unicron was still there. The aftermath of Unicron created a black hole, a tear through space and time. So similar kind of thing. But Unicron was always like the constant evil. He was like the biggest threat to the universe. And while he may have died in both incarnations of Armada and Energon, he still proved to be a threat even afterwards. Which is why Cybertron, albeit in the Japanese continuity with Micron Legend, Superlink, and Galaxy Force, there was no connection of Unicron. They only did it here in the US to kind of keep that going. And that kind of explains why the universe got reset. So maybe it is a similar thing where it's like Unicron did win in the last night. He finally woke up, even with Cybertron now being like one of Earth's planetary satellite moons. Maybe he woke up one day, the Autobots weren't able to fend him off. Quintessa won. Quintessa probably died. And then Unicron just reset the universe and went to another universe or a parallel dimension where we now have another race of existing Cybertronians where he can now just feast on the universe all over again. And then after this universe, if it fails, they can bring him in again, and he can do the same thing again, because that's what Unicron does.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And because, and not to mention that, he's. The only thing I'm curious now, though, is that do you think they're going to keep the threat of Unicron for the future sequels? Do you think, because you can have it to where he's locked away and there's no way he will come back, and you can just have it like that? Or do you think, they want to keep it around for, the last of the trilogy to be, the fight?
Oh, no, they are definitely going to bring him back. I really doubt that they would repeat the same mistake that they did with the last night and try to introduce Unicron only to never see him again. I feel like he is going to show up again at some point. Maybe he'll bring in more Terracons, because we know his capability of able to spawn freezers and other Terracons and Scorponok, so maybe he'll bring in another big bad. And it'll kind of
Oh yeah, I guess here's my theory on this. This is my pipe dream. It won't happen, but would be great. Is that second movie, no Unicron or anything, bring back the Decepticons, make it clear Megatron's in this and he's Megatron. Have him join up with Cobra Commander and they do the G.I. Joe thing. And then third movie, maybe Megatron gets completely screwed up by the end of the second movie, and that's when Unicron comes back by movie 3, and he's like, oh, I could give you a new body, a new troops command, yada yada. and given an actual Galvatron, not like a human-made thing, and have your third movie end with it, the 86 movie. Have a Galvatron, Unicron, Optimus Prime, fucking put in Ultra Magnus after fucking years of waiting for a movie with Ultra Magnus.
Yeah, I'll say this. The massive black design for Ultra Magnus that was leaked a while back, like way back, like during the early script of Revenge of the Fallen. I would love to see that in live action.
Yeah, like there's so much. Oh, because I was like right now, like it seems the idea of sequel is G.I. Joe. Like if it doesn't do the Unicron thing, what I would love, and this is absolutely not going to happen, but if I could have it my way, have this movie be Transformers meet the G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And then between 2 and 3, release your Micronauts and your Visionaries or whatever, and do Revolution. Like just call the third movie Revolution.
The comics cinematic universe and bring it to the
Like imagine Rom the fucking Space Knight and Optimus Prime and G.I. Joe.
Micronauts movie. Because weren't they supposed to do a Micronauts
exactly
movie?
Right?
Or did they switch it out for Dungeons and Dragons?
I don't know. They had a director attached to everything. Who was it? The guy who directed How to Treat Your Dragon, he was supposed to direct it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, because I remember reading, like, because I've been watching a lot of Theoremists here on YouTube, and he was doing a video, and he brought up that one projection image of, like, Bumblebee with, like, future movies, and Transformers was off the list, but Micronauts was on it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that was a thing that was supposed to happen.
Yeah, like... Because I remember that in that list because they had the Snake Eyes movie, which ended up happening.
Mm-hmm.
They had Micronauts. I wonder. I'll look it up after the stream because I'm absolutely curious where that went to. Because if they are still doing it, absolutely they will establish that in the universe. Like because in the comics, the bad guy, the Micronauts, is a major player in the villainy. Like, he's straight up Darth Vader. More ways than one. Like, so they'll for sure, like, if that is a part of it. And then the only thing is that they'll probably then, like, in the third movie, they'll probably establish your other ones, like your Mask, Visionaries, Rom. If they do Rom, because Rom looks kind of too much like Iron Man. It might be a design ripoff. But just again, like, I think a cinematic universe. Fuck, I want the Lollipop Fairy from Candyland to melt down Starscream's face. How fucking awesome would that be? With Molten Fudge. Like, that would be crazy.
See, since we're on the topic of the G.I. Joe crossover, first and foremost, holy shit, what a mindfuck. Like,
yeah, right?
This is a thing that is actually being established in a live-action Transformers movie. I don't fucking believe that. Like, first and foremost, I was talking about this before the stream even started. My theater erupted, myself included. I don't give a shit about the live-action G.I. Joe movies. I don't care about G.I. Joe. I've seen enough of the 80s cartoon to be like, how much acid did I do? Like, it's fucking weird. But the concept of G.I. Joe is obviously they're a secret organization to protect the world from terrorists. And, I can see that work for live action. I mean, it does work for our live action. What am I saying? But anyway, in this particular universe, right? In Bumblebee, we had Sector 7. Now they're establishing G.I. Joe, and my thought process is, while they are mentioning they are fighting an ongoing war, I can kind of see them ditch Sector 7 and have G.I. Joe be in place of that.
Oh, yeah, because I'll say this wasn't in my screening, but there was a second test screening, and that scene happened, but the card was Sector 7. Oh. So I think this is a very late change. Like, this was like, we're doing this sequel this way, so we're cutting it into this instead.
The reason I bring that up, too, is because in that credit scene, or that mid-credit stinger, while you see Agent Burke, played by Michael Kelly, you see him go down that little, like, I don't know what to call it, elevator? What is that? I don't know.
Like he's entering the secret base.
Yeah. Like, after that, also, fun little Easter egg that he tilts a real hero medal or plaque.
Yeah, I saw that too. I'm like,
Real American.
Also, Agent Burke is a G.I. Joe character. He's in an A episode of the G1 G.I. Joe cartoon.
Yeah, the spy who rooked me or whatever.
Yeah, so I guess you also looked it up because, like, I was like, who is this guy? Is this guy G.I. Joe? Also,
I think I watched or no, I didn't. I don't think I did watch Chris McFeely's episode on Mirage, and he brought that up.
oh, did he? Oh, really?
Yeah.
I totally missed that part. I watched it this morning. I don't remember that.
But I did like that little addition of him just like tilting the plaque that says "Real Hero" because it's like they could have went all out and been like a real American hero, but like it's still like, hey, we see what you did there. That's fun. But the reason I bring this up about like Sector 7 is because while you see Agent Burke go down on that platform, there's a spaceship that looks very reminiscent to Scourge's ship. And I wouldn't be surprised if that is Scourge's ship, because people are thinking like, oh, it's like the construction of like the Sky Striker. I'm like, no, that looks way too alien to be.
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely is the Scourge ship.
Yeah,
like to a T. So I think that's for sure. I think, to be fair, I bet that was included because they had the model. Like, why not use it? But
I mean, do you really believe that they would find a way to reverse engineer that into a Sky Striker?
No, I'm sure Star Trek are just going to be something that they are going to make eventually, and it's going to be cool. Like, speaking of like GI Joe in Cobra vehicles, that has to be the next big like thing they do, especially for toys. Is that the Transformers are going to be like Joe vehicles? Like, Shockwave's going to fucking show up as a fucking hiss cannon.
Yeah,
exactly. They have like
Bumblebee, so I mean, why not go all
out?
Plus,
exactly.
They could also find a way to bring back. They could bring back Human Alliance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. They're going to bring that toy line like back. Probably get a different name, but the exact same idea of like each toy line gets you get a Transformer and a Joe. Oh yeah. That's the thing. Like, I'm sure Hasbro is super excited to be like, this is going to be awesome. We can sell two brands at the same time and make just as much money.
Also, go ahead.
Go on.
No, you.
No, I was what was I gonna say? And I bet Lorenzo also pushed this because he also produced Snake Eyes, which did do well. I bet he wants a second chance at this franchise. I guess now third chance.
In an interview, Stephen Capel was the one to be like, that was actually my idea to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hell yeah! I mean, honestly, if Stephen Capel jumps back into the sequel, I wouldn't mind that.
I want him to come back, man. I think that the team that they got right now with Michael Bay, with Steven Spielberg, and Stephen Capel Jr., I think this is good shit. Like, this entire movie feels like a love letter to Transformers fans by a Transformers fan. This dude did his homework. He researched his shit. He is brought up in several interviews that he tried to take up as much from the graphic novels, aka the comics, IDW, from the previous movies, respecting that material, while also bringing in other elements of previous Transformers media, ergo Unicron, also dropping those pods that look very reminiscent to Dead End from Transformers Armada, his Minicon that looked like the laser pods in the cartoon, obviously respecting Beast Wars, still bringing in elements of the Michael Bay Transformers universe with designs like Mirage and Wheeljack and RC, Stratosphere, like Scourge, Nightbird, Battletrap, they all look like they would fit in the previous Michael Bay movies. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't feel as like cluttered. It feels pretty stable. Like, it feels solid compared to like The Last Knight, So I'm glad that they found a way to like respect the source material, but also give it a fresh new look. And I'm also really glad that the Maximals didn't just like bite the dust in this movie, because it did feel like they were kind of going to be like an afterthought. Because like I honestly was convinced in that final battle, when you see Nightbird and all those Terracons gang up on Primal and Rhinox, I'm like, oh shit, they're probably going to die, aren't they? But then I saw the TV spot with Primal helping Optimus, and I'm like, okay, you guys live. Cool. Maybe we'll see you in the next movie, because we didn't get to see you do much this movie.
Oh, yeah. I'm curious, too, because like if they do try to sell it as just a prequel and it's going to lead into a 2007 movie, there's going to be a lot of times where I'm going to rewatch the Bay movies and be like, where's Primal? Like, why don't you just call him back? You know where he is.
So I'm very anxious to see like what the next installments have in store. Like, again, I'm not big on G.I. Joe, but I can see G.I. Joe be like the Sector 7 of this new universe, even though we had Sector 7 and Bumblebee. But 7 years is a long time, so they could have been 2007, got the plug pulled, and now we have to basically have like a pseudo Nest kind of thing. Which I'm all for, actually, because like not only is this going to really help like revitalize the idea of like live action movies for not only Transformers, but also for G.I. Joe, because that unfortunately was another failing franchise with the movies, because they didn't really perform that well, as far as I'm aware. It's going to be a nice way to kind of meld the two together. I will admit, it does feel like they're trying to piggyback G.I. Joe off Transformers. Like, it feels like they're trying to have G.I. Joe be carried by Transformers because Transformers has been doing so well for the past, 40 years. But...
yeah. Absolutely, I agree.
It just, I hope that isn't the case. But at the same time, I do feel like that's probably what's going to happen. Because as soon as that crossover comes out, then there's probably going to be demand for G.I. Joe live-action movies again. And it's going to keep going from there. My question is... where's my Sonic the Hedgehog Transformers crossover? Where's my Super Mario Transformers crossover? Where's the Power Rangers crossover? You got Chris repping a Power Ranger shirt. Give me Power Rangers and Transformers.
Yeah. They could do that too. Hasbro owns the Power Ranger brand. They could absolutely do that.
I'm pissed off at that too, though, because they just revealed the Super Sentai just revealed King Oger, and it's all bug themed. And the Sixth Ranger is a spider, and they're probably not.
Oh, and I'm sure, they're literally it's such a gamble if they're gonna transition that into the next series.
Well, I don't even think they can now because Saban cut the ties with, Power Rangers. So.
Oh.
But the thing, can they? But I'm pretty sure even after Saban, I'm sure they can just redo
just
Sentai stuff.
I guess they could still do it. But I don't know if they will. But I hope they do because I want to see Spider Ranger in English dub.
Oh yeah, I mean I hope so too. Because right now their target thing isn't it? They just gave the new Rangers just new suits, right? Same helmets
for Cosmic Fury.
Yeah,
it's the first time they're doing original suits, but they're keeping the footage from the whatever the Zodiac Constellation Ranger Sentai.
Oh really? They're doing that? Okay.
Yeah, so they're keeping the Megazord from that Sentai, but they're doing original suits. So it's going to be kind of.
Oh, boo! Yeah, they did that with the OG Mighty Morphin. When they have those mythical Zords, that's also for a whole different Sentai.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, Mighty Morphin Season 2, the Thunder Zords.
Yeah, because the Tiger Zord the Tiger Ranger was entirely from that show alone. So.
Right.
Yeah, that was weird.
Anyway,
wait,
I'm serious about those crossovers. I do want to see them happen.
Oh yeah, I'm a sucker for crossovers. A lot of fans do not want this to happen, but I like crossovers. I like G.I. Joe. I watched some shows. I watched G.I. Joe Renegade, and that was really good.
The one that was on the Hub?
Yeah, on the Hub. Yeah, that was actually a really really good show. So. I would like to see where this goes. The only fear that a lot of people have is that when you bring in G.I. Joe, that means you're going to have a lot of focus on the Joe characters too.
Yeah.
And, you're going to take that away from the Transformers. And it's you're more of helping G.I. Joe than you are helping Transformers.
That's
so
what
you're
I'm
kind of hurting them.
Piggybacking off of Transformers because that's exactly how I feel like it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Transformers are going to be side characters or the side brand, and then G.I. Joe is going to be the main focus because it is G.I. Joe Transformers. So, I mean, it's already in the title. Plus, there is a movie that's already been, it's not been properly announced, but it has been said that it is probably going to be in, production, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, I'm very hesitant.
I'm sure that is now for sure going to be the sequel of this movie. I think that just goes hand in hand. What was I to say? Yeah, I don't know. I lost it. Whoopsie.
My bad.
Oh wait, no, I figured it out. There was an article that was posted either today or yesterday about Lorenzo di Buenaventura wants John Cena back, and I can totally see that if they do it, bring him back as a Joe.
Yeah, I could see
he leaves Sector 7. It goes to a higher call.
Sergeant Burns. They'd have to. No, they could probably just make him an original Joe.
Yeah, I was gonna say make him original Joe, or just give him a name that is already associated with the name, but instead of that character, make him Flint or make him Rock and Roll. You can just give him a. I mean, hell, if they make him Duke, I'd be all for that. Are you kidding me?
I mean, we say this like it's not possibly going to happen. I could totally see them because this is not the first time they used the same actor in a Transformers movie. Look at Stanley Tucci. He played Joshua Joyce in Age of Extinction, then he played Merlin.
Yeah.
Well, if they really wanted to, they could bring John Cena back from being
I
Agent
guess-
Byrne from Sector 7 into like Duke or Flint for G.I. Joe.
I just also had a thought that might be kind of worrisome is that so the logo we saw on that business card was very much the movieverse G.I. Joe logo from the first two movies. Do you think that Lorenzo's going to be like a narc again and be like, hey, like, this is a prequel,
These
so
are
you can't
connected.
use any of these characters?
Oh man.
I mean,
Because then you can't use, you lost your entire roster because they used
Yeah.
the entire like good roster of G.I. Joe and Cobra are used in these movies.
unless
So
they go
unless-
like a generational route.
There's always a Duke, there's always a
There's
Cobra
always
Commander.
a Duke, a Flint, a Cobra Commander. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, would be down. Also, not to mention that they already rebooted their G.I. Joe franchise with the Snake Eyes movie, because that movie is a super universe. It's not connected to those other two movies. But also, that movie was absolutely horrible.
Yeah, I heard it flopped.
It was horrendous. As someone who knows G.I. Joe, spoilers for Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes shows up at the last 3 seconds of the film
Are you fucking
called
kidding
Snake
me?
Eyes. Yeah, like I would say, like the character, like that Snake Eyes is like he's the main character, but he doesn't put on the helmet until the last 3 seconds, and then it cuts to black.
Oh my god.
It's horrible. It's more of a Storm Shadow movie. And to be fair, the actor for Storm Shadow, Andrew Koji, I love him. He's a show called The Warrior for HBO Max. Amazing show. He's the main guy. So seeing him as a Storm Shadow, I'm like, oh, awesome.
Then bring
He's
him
great.
back as Storm Shadow, and then
Bring him back.
Snake Eyes, a proper chance. Dude, that just hearing.
Yeah.
You know, I was actually gonna give Snake Eyes a watch. Now I'm just like, no, fuck it. Doesn't even deserve.
It's not worth. No, it's not worth it. Like the only time like it's really GI Joey is that there's the second act where he meets Scarlet and he also meets Baroness, and they have a little fight together. But then after that, it's just back to his problems. And like I don't know. And I guess that's not true. Like Baroness and Scarlet do show up in the third act for the final battle, but it just I don't know. It was so. It was just lame. The guy didn't seem like
make a
Snake
movie
Eyes.
about Snake Eyes and then not have him have the thing until near the end of the. That's just dirty.
The problem was they started a movie with a character that is notoriously silent, and they're like, well, we fucked up here, so we have to make sure he's silent at the very end when it's all said and done.
That. God.
That's bad. So I would agree that I hope they give those actors a second chance and integrate them into. Well, here again, the problem is that all these events happen in like 2017 or 2016, whenever this movie takes place. So they can't do that. So I think they're just going to have to press the reboot button again. Yeah, again.
Like they could bring back the same actors and then could just have it be around the same time as like whenever the next movie takes place. Like I mean, then again, we did have a 7-year split from Bumblebee and this movie, so I mean they could probably do like a 4 or 5 year split and have it be like take place in like 2000, 2000.
That's true. They could they could just. I was actually curious about that because if they are going to do 2 movies, at least that's the plan. I mean, last time they planned a trilogy, it didn't really work out for them. Because like 1994 is close to 2007, so if Lorenzo wants to have it as a prequel, you have only a certain amount of years to have it to where by the end of it, Optimus needs to be in space and not on Earth.
At least in this universe, but knowing him, he'll probably still be like, no, all the movies are connected because they're all Transformers, they're all G.I. Joe. That's just my headcanon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Again, like this is going to be years of debating. We'll be talking about this in like 2026 and still not have a straight answer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and let's mention that because as of next year, we will be talking about a whole different universe, the whole different cast of Transformer characters and actors for an animated movie that, as far as I'm concerned, that's not part of the universe. They're just making an animated movie. Though I'm sure if Lorenzo wants it to, he could be like, this is a prequel too. It takes place before Bumblebee. Yada, yada, you.
So we have 2 prequels.
We have 2 prequels. You get a prequel in your prequel. Though I don't think so, because I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have casted who's Bumblebee? Keegan-Michael Key?
Keegan-Michael Key.
Yeah, so they probably wouldn't have cast him that way. I think this movie will be a legit separate universe.
Also, Chris Hemsworth is Prime and Pax.
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be
I'm
weird.
curious. Like, do you think they're gonna like have like Hemsworth is actually just only Pax, and they'll have Peter Cullen as Prime?
The way they're wording it is they're saying he's supposed to voice a young Optimus Prime. They're not saying Orion Pax, so I guess they're kind of ditching that.
Because his literally like his like recent article about Just Wars One mentions that he's gonna be Orion Pax in this movie.
Well, whenever they announced the cast, they didn't say Orion. They just said, "Oh, Chris Hemsworth is
Yeah,
going to."
it's true, and I guess it's true. But I think if because like that was a press release for audience that don't really know the Transformers lore. If they announced that Chris,
I didn't think about that again because like my mind is always like Transformers fan. I don't really think about general audience. No, personally, I don't care about general audience. I'm just like, let the fandom represent. Like this is our shit. Like
also, you're safe. Like Lorenzo confirmed that he is Orion Pax in this movie.
So they're gonna find a way to make a character of alien. Actually, no. Now that I say that out loud, it's not that weird because they're aliens. They can modulate and change their voice as much as they want. I mean, Optimus Prime went from sounding like younger in the previous movies. Now he's like 80. Peter Cullen's 80, and he sounds a little bit older as Prime. So I mean, I get. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see that because it's not weird. They're aliens. They do grow. You know, they do like develop. So I mean, I guess Chris Hemsworth as Orion Pax wouldn't be a weird fit. It'd be interesting.
Didn't someone go see Peter Cullen and they said, like, Peter Cullen said, "Oh yeah, I recorded for a young Optimus Prime project."
I don't remember. So I just remember there was like a big rumor going around that people were saying like, "Oh, after Rise of the Beast, Peter Cullen is done." It's like, no, bullshit.
No, yeah, I'm sure Peter Cullen's just gonna keep on going until like he kicks the dust,
which hopefully won't be anytime soon.
I know, yeah, especially if this is a planned trilogy. Like if they, like, if we can get this to have a good ending, like an actual finished ending before anything happens to Peter Cullen,
but
then I think we win.
Could happen. I would love to see a second renaissance for Gary Chalk because I miss that Optimus. You don't really even get to hear him in Transformers anymore, and it's so sad because it's like this generation for Optimus Prime.
Like Gary Chalk, okay, one, they missed the biggest opportunity to have Gary Chalk voice Ape-Link.
I know.
Great for Davis of Love did it. Great, so Davis of Love, at least he gets now more lines because they cut him out and he didn't hurt it. So I guess we're safe
Gary
there.
Chalk really wanted to. He could do like a fan dub of that scene with.
I guess true, yeah.
And Primal. Peter. You can have Gary Chalk just be like Maximals and still keep Prime being like Autobots. Then both of them just saying roll out together.
That would be sick. I would like to hear that. Also, David K wants to be in the sequel. Like someone tweeted, like, next movie, I want more Predacons, real Predacons. David K retweeted it, being like, yes.
Yeah.
So,
also, that was the thing
they won't do it.
I called earlier with the whole dialogue. I was so happy when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I literally called that shit word for word. Rebecca can vouch for me. I don't know if you saw my story on Instagram or not, Cyborg, when we got the trailer teaser. When we got the trailer teaser for the second or for the theatrical trailer. I don't know if you saw that. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I called that shit word for word. I was so fucking happy. It's like I can predict a thing. All right. But it also felt like it was going to happen anyway, because it's like you have the Autobots and the Maximals together, but like it is weird to hear Primal say roll out like he's an Autobot.
Yeah, right. And also, because in my old cut, he says Maximals maximize instead of like calling out Cheetor and Rhinox specifically. I don't know which one's better. I guess
I kind of like this one because it's like, I can understand if they wanted to go like full Beast Wars and be like Optimus Primal maximize. Like it'd be kind of weird. A lot of people wouldn't get it, but at the same time,
exactly.
The one we got was pretty cool. Also, Ron Perlman, goddamn, I loved how he just yelled out "maximize," just like "maximize." That was sick.
There's a lot of awesome lines he delivered, like I'm the Maximal who's gonna rip out your spark.
I was worried we weren't even gonna hear that because it was in a featurette, and I was like, okay, is this gonna be one of those lines where it's like it's just?
Yeah, isn't it funny that like all the trailer dialogue or all the trailer lines didn't make it into the movie itself?
Yeah. I know I'm kind of like, now that I'm starting to be more aware of like dialogue and shit like that, when Prime says this is not our war, I know now that they just cut it out because they only took the part of world and made it sound like he was saying war.
Yeah, because
whenever he's talking to RC and Bumblebee, he's like, "This is not our world."
Like, there it is. It's changed. Because something like, because you couldn't go anywhere with this movie without hearing like, what's the thing that Primal says? Oh, there's that. Absolutely that too. And they had that, and they twisted it for a bit.
No, they definitely changed
better.
it.
For the better, in my opinion. But what's the thing that Primal says that was in every like thing? Shit.
Something. You have no idea what you're going up against.
Something like that. Like yeah, something like that. Like
you've never faced anything like this.
Yes, that was it. And it's funny because like that was never in the movie. In fact, almost every line he had in the teaser trailer wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
In fact, every line in the teaser trailer wasn't in the movie.
Actually, yeah, now that you think about it, because like he never, at least from what I remember, he never said this is about the fate of all living things. He never said that.
Or like from your past or future, you never faced anything like this. Like, yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like emotional dialogue. Wow.
Yeah, funny, huh?
So we literally
I'll say that wasn't Micah either.
We didn't even know about up until like the TV spot with him saying "maximize."
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of shitty, but they did still surprise us at least.
Yeah, that's true.
That's pretty cool.
I would love to see more like these because I hope they aren't like a one and done. Because I wouldn't mind having them like show up more, especially because they kind of got like second fiddle in this whole Rise of the Beast.
How do you feel? Okay, so I asked Rebecca this as well earlier today, or sorry, TF Actress. I asked her earlier whenever she saw Rise of the Beast. How do you feel about Tongai Chirisa's voice for Cheetor?
It was all right. Like, I mean, that's the thing. I didn't hear much of it. I wish I did. Because he said what 3 lines.
About 4. He was actually one of the first maximal. Actually, he was the first character in the movie
Yeah,
after Primal's monologue.
Exactly. He gets the first dialogue.
Yeah. His grunts, whenever he was fighting, were pretty badass sounding.
Yeah, and like actually, I don't know, his voice sounded cool. Like when he was all like, "Oh, sorry about that, brother." Like it's like you see, like he's a chill dude. And like I don't know what the line was, but he did talk more in like when they were all kind of like it was more like when they were all simmering down and like talking to each other. Like he explained something. I wish I knew what it was, but he said something. And like yeah, it's a shame that like because these are fan favorite characters. Like I know there's someone in TFW forums. Like his favorite character is Rhinox. He made that very clear multiple times. And now I'm wondering like, wow, he must feel like shit because his favorite character doesn't say anything. That got cut. It doesn't do much besides roar for a second, and then that's it. Like he fought with the cool hammer thing, and that was it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, at least the design's very like.
Oh yeah, the design's good.
Yeah, for the studio series.
Oh my god, the studio series figure is great.
Yeah, they really nailed it.
Yeah, that was good. Like
now that we've seen both, weapons, I feel like that's another reason why they did like a lot of reshoots or like re-edits, I guess, because it's like from what we saw in the first place from the teaser trailer, it looks like we were just going to see Rhinox and Cheetor just kind of run up in their robot modes. So I'm glad that they incorporated their studio series weapons.
Yeah.
Because like that even makes it more satisfying to fully have like that full look. I am disappointed we didn't get at least one group shot with all the characters in their robot modes, because I wanted to see a better look at Cheetor and Rhinox's robot mode. Specifically Cheetor. Like,
that's true, yeah.
He's literally just like a yellow-orange blur. Like, if you pause right at the moment after he kills a couple of freezers, you can pause and look at his head pretty well, and the head sculpt is actually kind of a cool design.
Yeah. It's
like,
yeah, I agree. Like,
look at him. You just see him constantly moving and like being like athletic. Like he's doing like flips and twists and all kinds of shit like that. Rhinox is pretty cool, but he's just kind of throwing his hammer around like he's Thor, and you don't really get to see a solid look at him. I'm glad we got to see them transform, because I was worried about that. But like, come on, give us something. or give us a little
Yeah, I
more.
know. Which is again, it's kind of messed up because this movie is literally titled after the Beast Wars, and they get pretty much they play second fiddle in their own movie.
I mean,
And
look at it this way.
I'm not for them.
At least they're not as treated badly as the Dinobots.
That's true. That is a very good point. Like that was such the largest like selling point of the movie, just for them to show up in like, the last like 30 minutes. That is kind of shit. Yeah, I mean, if we don't see him ever again, that's it's whatever. We now lost a potential of an awesome Beast Wars movie.
Yeah.
So you better fucking stick it up, GI Joe, because it's all right on you now.
They acknowledge that they know about like all the big guys in South America, so they have knowledge of the Maximals.
Yeah.
So they could bring them back. I hope so.
Also, I would hope so.
I really enjoy the fact that this is the second time Ron Perlman has got to work with Peter Cullen.
Yeah, true. Oh yeah, and it's good. It's 10 times better. Like I almost forgot about the web series.
Oh, dude, anyone can say shit about that, and I'll still enjoy it. Like, yeah, Combiner Wars was kind of shit, but like Titans Return got a lot better, and then Power of the Primes I think was like the best out of the three.
Oh man, I'm the opposite. I don't like any of them.
That's fair.
Yeah, it just sucks because I love Volcanicus. I love the idea of Volcanicus, and like it was cool for a second, but I just think that whole like universe is
that whole thing was basically like just an over. I mean, this is the most generic Transformers fan statement ever. Like, it was just an overglorified toy commercial.
Oh, absolutely, and especially because at that point, like during that because like that was the first time they did a trilogy of toy lines. Like that was designed for those toy lines. Yeah. And yeah, it all was in that same like even
all the toys
the Netflix series for me. Universe. Isn't it funny that the Netflix series Kingdom that a lot of people don't like did a better like Beast Wars crossover than the movie because it did the actual thing of crossing with like the Beast Wars instead of just
but they also kind of reversed it too, where it's like the G1 characters showed up in the Beast Wars world more so.
Oh yeah,
characters showed up in the Beast Wars or the G1.
That's
world.
True. Yeah. Both universes have an army of Scorponauts. I guess that's just
sure. Why not?
Why not?
They probably said that, and we're like, write that down. We can save money.
God, that is kind of a shame. Like, God, your only Predacons is just a bunch of Scorponauts. And especially
honestly, I'm happy with that because with the way that the Terracons got treated, I do not want to see characters like Pterosaur and Scorponok and Tarantulas and Black Arachnia just get one-offed and be like, hey, we're never going to see them again. They're dead. Hooray. Like,
I guess that's true. Actually, oh my God. Whoa. Flash. Whoa. I just had a crazy remembering like a deja vu or something like that. Like I had a dream that I watched the second cut of Rise of the Beast before the official one came out. And like the same thing, like pods were dropping on the ground, but the pods instead of just Scorponauts, there was a bunch of different animals, and one was a Carnotaurus that went straight to Primal and like, remember me? And like the head of the Carnotaur turned to fingers. And I was like, oh, it's Megatron! Oh, they're doing it. And then I woke up out of excitement, and I'm like, well, that sucks.
Reality is often disappointing.
Yeah. Because I mean, honestly, that would have been sick. And honestly,
Megatron is the Carnotaurus. That'd be sick as fuck.
It would be sick, exactly. Because I guess my brain was like, he can't be a T-Rex. He just did 2 movies with a T-Rex. It has to be something else.
That'd be really cool, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love that. But yeah, that was a dream. So never happened. And I guess in a way, at least it's that way. Like if they did do a bunch of just random Predacons, and like you said, it would have just been fodder, and they would. It
literally just would have been cannon fodder. Like they would all die. We'll never see them again.
And if we do, I guess in a way, it's good to stay that.
Where it's like we have these assets, we can use them to kill them off again.
Mm-hmm. And if they really, really wanted to, and no one's asking for this, but they could have it to where since they're in the ancient past, they could have a Beast Wars movie and have like you can have Primal look more like not like ripped up and like weathered. You can have like your movie.
I could see them do like a live action prequel to Beast Wars or for Beast Wars, like a Beast Wars spinoff before Prime gets the look that he has. Same with Cheetor, because like they all have fur on them, but they also have a lot more robotics to them. So it's like they could do it. They could literally do a Transformers 1 with Beast Wars. Get Gary Shaw, David Kay, and whoever else for the live action reboot or the live action prequel for Beast Wars. And then this universe is like, oh, they're all a little bit grown up now. Like their voices just changed.
Yeah. And also, and they do mention, like, Primal has that line in the movie where, like, the others, like, they're all gone, like, I'm all that's left. Like, we could have, like, so that means there were other Maximals in the planet at some point. You could have your Rat Trap and your Dinobot.
Yeah, wasn't there like a whole fucking thing about like the pre-cut where it's like they were gonna mention that Dinobot or Rat Trap or Tigatron were in it?
I don't know where that came from. It never happened in my version. My version, like, was straight up like just those 4 Maximals. No, nothing else was name dropped. But like, I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know where the Tigatron rumor came from. And also,
They just said there was like another Maximal. He was gonna die, and everyone was thinking it was like Dinobot or Tigatron or Rat Trap. But then now we know it turned out to be Ape Link.
What a weird, like, it's. I wonder why they picked redoing an Optimus Primal model for Ape Link when you had the Cheetah model and you could have tweaked it to be a tiger for Tigatron. I think Tigatron like being the 5th one would have been awesome.
Better too, because it's like it gives off like that sense of like it's still reusing the same skeletal structure for Primal, but it's also catering to like a very like minimum part of the Beast Wars.
That's
audience.
True. Like what a fucking callback to call up a character from a convention exclusive comic.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Like, I never would have thought I'd see Ape Link on live action. I would have loved to see.
Yeah, no.
Mode. I would have loved to see his robot mode.
Oh, yeah, and they'll make a toy. There's no doubt.
No, absolutely.
And if you said to me, before I saw the screening, like, hey, what if they bring an Ape Link? I would have told you, no, that's so bizarre. You're stupid. Like, it would have. It's so weird that of all the things, like that character.
Yeah.
Because
I guess had similar discussions with like studio series, and I was like, they're probably gonna do Devastator, and they're like, no, and then it happened. I'm like, what were you saying?
I think it's probably because like again, I guess it's just like why use of all the models they use. Like I guess they had to do another gorilla because they wanted a old leader of Maximals, and now your leader of the Maximals Primal.
Yeah, it definitely gave off like a Lion King vibe with like Simba and his son.
Mm-hmm. I kind of did like
it's passing the torch, so it's like, you must guard the transwarp key, and now you are the leader of the Maximals because I know I'm going to die. Also, David Sobolov just did not fucking expect him to voice Ape Link at all. Like I don't know if we talked about that or not, but I was
at least I was just like at least because he got the right X line cut out. At least he now redeemed it with this.
He did such a good performance too. Him as Battle Trap as well. I know we said like Battle Trap is supposed to be like a more ferocious, more violent voice, but I can't help but hear like a slightly deeper Blitzwing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still
Rebecca, cool. I can tell you're trying to say something. I'm trying to give you the airwaves here.
Oh, I mean, like sort of, I guess, but I mean, like I was just thinking to myself. That was the second name I saw in the credits along with David Sobolov's name. Jeez, that was bothering me.
Mm-hmm. Which they credited John DiMaggio as for Transit, even though it's cadets.
I missed that bit. I missed that bit, I guess.
I mean,
which, he never again, spoke, make it an extended cut. Don't make it deleted scenes.
Sorry, Cyborg.
No, you're good. No, this is just more to myself. Like, especially since he's credited in the movie, just make it an extended version and release the extended.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck, do what Spider-Verse. That's Spider-Verse. Do what Spider-Man No Way Home did, and do a second release of the movie with the transit scene. I will go see it again for a transit scene.
I'll fucking go see it again. It gives me an excuse to take my Cinemark exclusive Optimus Prime popcorn bucket and the AMC popcorn drink bucket.
I saw that at my AMC. I'm like, boy, I don't want to spend $50.
Yeah, I mean, I was debating that so hard when I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky motherfuckers having AMC theaters near you. The closest one I got near me is like near my local Target, and it's like a few more miles out. I wasn't able to get it at Monday because they're like, "Oh, we're not selling it until Thursday." I'm like, "Shit, am I gonna be here?"
Well, I mean, I was thinking myself of getting that, but then I realized, wait a minute, I have Holiday Prime, which is basically like just an Optimus Prime, truck figure, and I could easily just get one from like Walmart that's kind of just based on the character for like so much cheaper and not actually be a popcorn bucket. I could just get the head instead.
I wish I had the head. I also recently just got Optimus Prime cab. Thank you so much. Round of applause, everyone. Speaking of cabs, like Optimus Prime, like truck modes, I recently at the Fan Fusion convention that we went to, I got a G1 Optimus Prime for less than $100. Like it's not like a G1 like the original release; it's the 2002 reissue one.
It's still a commemorative reissue. It's still a G1 Prime. Celebrate.
Exactly. It's still official, and it's 20 years old. And the guy was selling it for $90. And I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like, yeah. And so I told him like, "What's the catch?" He's like, "What do you mean? There's no catch. It's $90." So I'm like, "Sold. I'll buy it." And I bought Ages 3 and Up, I think it was called, the website. I bought their replacement smokestacks so I can, because like the only problem with this release is that the smokestacks are way too small.
Yeah, I saw that. I have like a original G1 Prime. It has like the longer smokestacks. So
exactly. So I bought replacement smokestacks to replace those.
Nice.
I just got to screw a lot of bits to get there, but because like I like that doesn't look good at all. It needs to be the top.
Speaking of Optimus, even further, just talking about his truck mode, I guess there's no explanation why he looks the way he looks other than he's been on Earth for 7 years, and I guess we're supposed to believe that the truck that we saw with Bumblebee at the end credit scene of that movie was not Optimus.
I think he just picked a different truck. I think he just I'm feeling grill guard this time.
I kind of like the bull bar. I kind of like that actually.
Yeah,
it's a nice look. It's like it's aggressive, but it's subtle.
Yeah, I remember when people when it first happened, people were all like kind of like on the fence of that. But I get like many arguments of behind the scenes stuff. It turns out just to be not that bad. It's really cool.
Where's it go when he transforms though?
It's like Studio Series, like the one's coming out. It just gets in his back.
Because it's like whenever he's transforming to truck mode, you just kind of see it manifest.
Mm-hmm. That's true. There's a lot of cheating in this movie for transformations. There's a lot of just bits show up eventually.
Like if I gotta go there, I would have to say G1 with his trailer.
Yeah.
I think pull the trailer again.
Gets his trailer.
Oh, absolutely. Full of Joes, the trailer, trailer pulls in. Joes drive out with some dune buggies, yell "Yo, Joe." Optimus Prime says, "What the fuck does that mean?" And then transforms and they fight. That would be awesome.
Please, can we have Peter Collins like, "What the fuck does that mean?" No, I could totally see that. Like just one scene, like Optimus in his truck mode, like full speed, then like power slides, the trailer opens, all the dune buggies, Joe's on them. They're like, "Yo, Joe," and then Optimus yells like, "Roll out!" And then
roll out.
They're going to fight whoever, like they're going to fight Cobra or the Decepticon.
It's going to be Cobra Commander and Straxus or Thunderwing, and it's going to be like, "Yeah, holy shit, let's fight Optimus Prime." He's going to say Joe out or roll Joe.
Oh God!
Roll
no.
Oh my God! No.
How about oh no?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Because again, with Lorenzo being attached to this project, he won't allow Megatron to be the villain of the next movie. So this is the fun part of who do they do next to be the villain?
Yeah, that's curious.
Yeah, because
I would say if they really get the balls to do it, bring in fucking Death Saurus. That would be awesome.
Oh,
that would be such a not only just a risk, but that would be such a fucking treat to the Japanese Transformers continuity.
Absolutely, and also a small kaiju transformer, actually, here's something. Do you think they would make an original villain that's a Cobra transformer? Fucking big Quick Strike show up, and he's like, oh, I can see right now. Fuck, I can. I can see it now. Cobra Commander is the whole Cobra Law thing where he's like, oh, the Cobra Law is this ancient society, and I am the most recent leader of this, grand order. And they pray to a Cobra god, which turns out to be an ancient transformer, and it's a big Cobra transformer. and it's like,
Maybe
oh, I'm
that would
actually
be
a
like their
Decepticon.
take on Serpentor.
Yeah, exactly. Like Serpentor could be, instead of a Joe villain, he could be a Transformer. Fuck, that's it. It's gonna be that. It's gonna be
There's
Serpentor, the
There's
Transformer
also
villain.
that concept art from the last night of a giant snake.
Exactly. We're calling it now. You know, Hasbro, that's okay. We figured it out. Make sure you put us in the credits.
I'm on speed dial. I'm just saying.
Callahan is spelled Callahan.
Yeah, I could totally see that work. Because like it's not the first time that they've done something like that. Because they had like a Serpentor Transformer before for like BotCon, or the Transformers.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was like son of Megatron and Serpentor or some shit like that. So I could totally see them like that.
I mean, if there are any other like ideas for villains, because we've now had a movie of Galvatron and a movie of Scourge, they could make Cyclonus a villain, like a main baddie.
Oh, I want to see a live action Cyclonus so bad. Ever since Age of Extinction, with that fucking leaked script with him and Lockdown in like a dystopian like area, and having like Lockdown carry the heads of Mudflap and Skids as like bells on his like waist. It's like, fuck, I want that now. I want Cyclonus so bad. He would be such a cool crazy. Also, I'm thinking
the only thing that the Scourge,
Destro. What if he was like a Cybertron?
Oh, Destro. Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. Like, I would, if Destro's head was actually like Cybertronian robotic instead of like, I absolutely.
Oh, bring in Dr. Arkaville.
Yeah, why not? Bring in Dr. Arkaville.
That is a good one.
Bring in Dr.
Absolutely.
Arkaville. Like the doctor, like, oh my fucking god, I just thought of something genius. Okay, hear me out.
Go for it.
Dr. Arkaville in the G.I. Joe crossover. Continued universe, of course, right? But he goes by Dr. Arkaville, his like actual name. Later on in the movie, he gets named Dr. Mindbender.
I was gonna say, like, that's the perfect way to do that. Like, have him be both. That would be awesome. I'd be down for that. Absolutely. I remember I explained to my roommates, like, because like after it was all said and done, you know, I'm like, oh, here's characters they should bring in the next movie. And I bring in what's his name, like Zamat and like Tamor,
Zamat and Tomax.
Yeah, and he's like, "Are you fucking
twins,
serious?"
Right? You're talking about the twins.
Yeah, they're twins. Yeah,
linked, and like if one gets hurt, the other feels its pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Zamat. And
like
Tomax.
I brought in those names, and they're like, "You're fucking serious, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, those are legit characters." And they were like, I would never want to see these things ever."
I would like to see,
but I think they should.
What's a fucking other dude? I forget his name. He looks like he changes blue if he's like exposed to moonlight or something. What's his name?
I think you're talking about Edward from Twilight.
The what?
The classic Cobra villain Edward from Twilight.
This.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Namor?
I don't. There's Zartan, but he's
Zartan. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, they can bring in Zartan.
Oh yeah, and they actually should, because his whole point is that he transforms, like he shape shifts his face into other people's faces. So, like, have like a transformer show up and be like, "Oh, you do that too? That's cute." Then blow him up.
Mirage versus Zartan.
Ooh.
There you go. Do you think they're gonna bring back Mirage or Anthony Ramos for that matter?
I think they would.
So. Especially with that other mid-credit stinger of like Mirage being like this mixed match version of like a bunch of, you know, Porsche parts.
My big thing is like, because to me, every time I think about that, my thing is like, is the actor, like, does the actor want to go through that again? Like, does Anthony Ramos care about this movie? Does he just, or does this to him just like, oh, I didn't really, you know, I was here for the paycheck. I don't want to do any more of these. Like, I want someone that
he's a Beast Wars fan.
But how real is that though? He can say, oh, I love Beast Wars, but how do I know that? Like, he's there to be like, here's an easy thing to say to get people on my side. Like, I want someone that is like, oh yeah, I love this franchise. I'm going to go on for, you know, for a long time. Like, when you know, for Confusion, when I went to the panel for Jeremy Renner was like, I will do Hawkeye forever if they allow me. Like, I want someone to do that for Transformers, to be like, yeah, I'll be the human character forever.
Peter Cullen did it.
Exactly, very cool. And he's clear. Like, I will voice Optimus Prime until I die. And like, so I want that, but for a person, like, I wonder if because Shia LaBeouf literally he went insane after 3 movies. Marky
Yeah.
Mark doesn't want to do it anymore. Do you bring in another person, or do you just or with Anthony Ramos? Because right now he's doing MCU stuff. He's being the villain for an MCU show. Will he
Anthony
be willing
Ramos?
to juggle? Yeah, he's playing a villain called the Hood for an Ironheart show.
Oh shit!
And
I
so,
forgot about that.
yeah, so would he be willing to juggle MCU Transformers life, or do they just bring in another person?
I mean, I guess it is kind of an interesting question to ponder because it's like, anyone could be like, read a thing about like how you love the Transformers franchise for a paycheck. But I feel like when it comes to like some of the actors, they really do care about the characters and they care about the universe and the franchise as a whole. Like when I saw the featurettes about that, like Anthony Ramos, I genuinely believe it. I don't know much about Dominic Fishback. I can't really say if she actually cares about Transformers or not, but she's also shared that like when, I can't remember who, but I think she mentioned like younger siblings, like she would play with Transformers or something like that. I can't fully remember. Liza Koshy, I feel like she may actually be into it because now she's like the new RC. And I genuinely believe that like she does want to continue if they do bring an RC back, which I don't see why they wouldn't because she never died.
Right.
Cristo, the guy who voices Wheeljack, Cristo, I want to say Fernando. I think. I want to make sure I get this information right. I'm looking on TF Wiki as I speak. Cristo Fernandez? There we go. Yeah, Fernandez.
Yeah.
He recently did an interview today, and like he was saying that like he played with Transformers growing up as a kid. So I feel like he would care, and he might come back as Wheeljack.
That's such a cop-out, though. It's such a cop-out thing to say for an interview. Like, if someone goes straight up to you, like, "Oh, hey, so you voice Transformers. What do you love about Transformers?" Like, oh, I love Transformers. I played with them as a kid. Everyone does.
I mean,
everyone plays with them as a
okay,
kid.
that's fair. I don't know, man. I feel like they wouldn't. I feel like Anthony wouldn't just like walk out. Like,
I absolutely think he would. I absolutely think he would be like, "I could do a lot more better stuff than Transformers."
Do what?
I absolutely think the opposite. I absolutely think he would totally be like, "Yeah, if I don't have to do this second movie, I probably won't." Unless, again, either they put him in the contract or they say, "Hey, we'll pay you more to show up in a sequel." Then he would do it because he's an actor and this is a job.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't show up for it again, I would hope that he find an actor that is like, I like it. Like John Cena. I wonder if he like. There's that funny thing that they did was like they should bring back Black Dragon. He's hot. Like I wonder if John Cena. I don't know if that's something that someone fed him or if that's a thing that he came up with. But if it's so, like if John Cena likes Transformers, bring back John Cena. That's where like back to that thing. Like bring in someone that likes Transformers actually.
I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I feel like now that they established that Noah's in this universe, unless they do a Bumblebee and they don't bring back like Haley Steinfeld, maybe they would introduce another human character, but I feel like it would be way too soon.
I would say I don't know if I would want a new character because that's the thing. Like, even after all I said in general about me and the actors, I still think I like Noah. I want to see Noah's story continue.
Yeah.
Also, like I want to see Noah gain a G.I. Joe like tagline name.
Yeah. Because I don't.
Like it'd be cool.
I don't know what happened. I'm probably having tech issues or something. She'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know if there's like a Noah Diaz in G.I. Joe. Unless he could be like an original Joe. So
exactly, he probably would be. Yeah, if they do that, because I don't know, if they do it, cool. Fuck, you know what they should do? Bring both back. Have an older Charlie and Noah get together. Like, there's times like because when Bumblebee was still considered as a prequel, a part of me was thinking like, damn, that means Charlie is like 50 when the last night happens. And she's like probably seeing Bumblebee on the news and be like, oh shit, it's Bumblebee. I know Bumblebee. Like I kind of want to see, if those two came together, it'd be cool to see. I like Haley Steinfeld, and I like Anthony Ramos. So if they bring them together, I mean, it'd be weird as fuck now. I You think about it now, I'm like, what would she do? Why is she here? Why is she part of G.I. Joe?
I don't know. Maybe Haley Steinfeld could be like Lady J.
Yeah. I built my dad's car and I felt the rush for adventure. You know what? Never mind. Don't bring in Haley Steinfeld. Bring in her nerdy, uh, like friend, the GoBots guy.
Oh, Memo.
Memo. Yeah. Have him be Tone Rat. Have him just be
Yeah.
some weirdo. Just something to have us connect, like feel more connected.
Now that I'm talking about like all these GI Joe, because I do know of the characters. I watched the Hub and like Discovery Family at like 6 a.m. every so often. I did watch GI Joe for a while, and I do like the cartoon as much as a fucking acid trip as it is. I'm kind of excited now the more I talk about it, but it's like I still don't really care that much about GI Joe. But I'm happy that like they're doing something that's so unique and nuanced within the Transformers fandom that a lot of people don't really know about, or they do know about, and it's something that they've been waiting for. So I guess in a way, I'm excited that other people are excited for a thing.
Yeah,
I'm
because
also curious
I
about
would
what's going
agree.
to happen and how it's going to play out.
Because like a lot of that's the thing, like not just fans, people in general are going to be more interested in GI Joe when they have the Transformers like hanging around them. And so like there will be like if anything, I can see Hasbro like they're like I can see them as this is as like a strategy for business to be like if we introduce the GI Joe the Transformers, a lot of new people, a lot of new kids are going to be introduced to the GI Joe that way, and so we can get them to GI Joe, and then you have now a whole market of a property that we could that I'm sure because I bet their GI Joe toy brand right now is a hard sell because no one really knows
Yeah,
what GI Joe.
the classified series are.
Yeah, who knows if that's even getting any like good marketing with that. I wonder, like, I see all of that, all the ads on Instagram when they post that stuff, but I wonder if they're not doing any good sales. And I wonder, like, if you do that with Transformers, like you connect them together, you then give GI Joe a second breath of air to really like expand to then like after that movie, they can have a GI Joe spinoff of just the Joes, and then maybe Skywarp shows up and joins them. That'd be cool to see.
Oh, that'd be a nice reference to IDW.
Yeah, but you know, I can see them. It's a ploy for them to be like, we can build this franchise. We can we can make our toys monolithic because they're now connected to this universe thanks to Transformers that started this whole thing off.
I mean, I'm still somewhat concerned that like Transformers is allowing GI Joe to piggyback off of them, but I guess that's what happens in a lot of like business and brand practice type stuff. So it's not a terrible thing, but at the same time, it's this could go one of two ways. This could be really successful, or it could fail twice as hard.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. Because like I mean, Marvel they did pretty much the same thing. Like Marvel was gambling on Iron Man, and they came out with an Iron Man movie, and it turned out to be a big success. Otherwise, MCU would not exist. And so that's they keep gambling with like the universe that people know and love now. But like, oh, what are the Guardians of the Galaxy? Again, another gamble, and it worked out perfectly. This is Paramount's gambling with a big franchise. Like, will people enjoy a GI Joe movie attached with a brand that they love?
Yeah,
and hopefully, because again, like so it's very clear that you and I, we both know our GI Joe. We both want to succeed. Uh, you know, there could be cool stuff that comes out of this. I get, but like I mentioned earlier, my hope is that they don't sacrifice Transformers.
Yeah, I really do not want to see the Transformers franchise be sidelined for G.I. Joe because, yes, while the G.I. Joe movies did terrible, the later Transformers movies didn't do too well either. Their success literally ended after the last night. Yeah. Bumblebee brought it back, sure, but there's still everyone's hesitancy towards, hey, there's a new Transformers movie coming out. Is it going to be good? Is it going to suck? It's a Transformers movie. That's the general statement for anyone. It's just, oh, it's another Transformers movie.
God, boy, if Bumblebee didn't work out, like if Bumblebee didn't get good critic scores, we would not be talking about this movie at all. Like this would not be a conversation. This movie franchise would be taking a big hiatus, and they would wait for another probably like 5 years until we would get into something else. So,
and I'll say this: as much as I express my slight distaste towards Bumblebee now, compared to what I used to say back in 2018, where I was like, "This is the Transformers movie we've all been waiting for." I'm glad that Bumblebee was able to walk or was able to crawl, so Rise of the Beast can walk. because
Absolutely.
I genuinely do not really care for Bumblebee as much anymore, because it's just the typical Iron Giant story, except replace Iron Giant with Bumblebee, or replace ET with Bumblebee, and that's the same story. Like,
It's a little hard for like, I agree, because Bumblebee is for sure isn't a Transformers movie, as it is, like you said, Giant ET Flash. Besides, obviously, like the first 15 minutes is, amazing.
also the humans in it. Like, I know it's a story about Charlie, but like the parents, the little brother, there's so much humans in it, not enough Cybertronian action, and that's what I'm here for. Is for the
Right, exactly.
Cybertronians. It
But,
just feels like 2007 all over again, except 2007 was a little bit better.
Also, we did look out, like a director like Travis Knight, who wanted a kind of a story close to home of a girl in her car.
Yeah,
like,
God, that sounds weird.
Yeah, but like if it wasn't him directing it, I don't think this movie would have been successful, and I think which case would have brought the Rise of the Beast to happen. Like this like having these. Luckily, the humans in that movie are likable, enjoyable. To have it to where you still watch it and have a fun time, and then when Bumblebee shows up is great too. And yeah, I think it's.
I mean, I'll say Charlie was at least enjoyable and endearing in the movie, because it's like, she's your angsty teenage girl trying to figure shit out while also grieving over the loss of her passing father. But then the parents come in and the stepdad comes in, and I'm just like, get out of here. I don't like you.
Oh yeah,
I'm just like, you don't even belong.
That's their design though. Like they want you to not like those characters. They want you on Charlie's side because you just like them either. So I think they serve that purpose.
I guess I didn't think about it like that. But I do like Charlie. I think she's one of the stronger human leads.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She's definitely
movies
more
so far
believable than like poor Cade from Age of Extinction in The Last Night, where it's like, I'm an inventor. Like, are you though?
How's your mother?
Okay, you made a couple robots. You're able to fix some shit. That's cool. But like, are you an inventor? And where was that during The Last Night? Like,
yeah,
what are you doing?
That out.
Sam was believable too. He's just a teenage dude trying to get a car so that he can get a chick and then, go from there. He's gonna go to college.
Of all the employees I have at my arcade, like all of them say, like, oh, like when I mentioned the Transformers movies, like, oh, the Shia LaBeouf ones. Like they don't say the Michael Bay ones; they say the Shia LaBeouf ones.
That's fair.
People like the Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf is great.
Yeah, if he ever came back, I would.
He had like that psychotic break.
Yeah, right. If they ever did like a Transformers 6 and they brought him in, I think that would be actually really great.
Transformers No Way Home.
No Way Home, exactly.
And we honestly though, could we get that? Could we please get Shia and Mark and Marky Mark and Haley in a Transformers movie?
That would be insane. It would be
like,
at that point they would throw realism out the window.
For everyone else would be like, oh, these actors from those Transformers movie. Shut the fuck up. This will be cool.
I would like to see that too. I mean, yeah, again, it's super unreasonable and not going to happen, but it would be fun to see it.
Like, find a way to make it like, Unicron's still the big threat, right? Have it be a way where it's like Unicron cause an insurgent or an incursion, like Marvel, and like have the universe meld together. So it's like we have like the Bumblebee Rise of the Beast verse with the Bay verse, like, and like, the beginning of the movie starts off halfway with like the Bumblebee Rise of the Beast verse. I'm just gonna call it the Capel verse from now on because Travis Knight did start it, but there's no such. He only did one movie. Anyway,
we'll figure that name out eventually. I'm sure someone will say it.
But just like started off halfway with like the Capel verse, and then like there's a disturbance in the universe, and like things start to collide and merge together. So like maybe the memories of the previous universe of the Babeverse merge with like the current characters like Optimus and Bumblebee. And then we have some of the humans like transfer from that universe to this universe, and they start getting memories that are like, oh shit, we met these guys.
God, if it wasn't for the fact that there's already a big movie that just came out that's making a big old book of money in the box office for Spider-Verse, as of right now, I think every other franchise is afraid to do multiverse.
Yeah.
Especially because like the last movie that won the box office was also a multiversal movie. So like I think right now, like Transformers probably like that's probably why they're doing G.I. Joe, because like we can't do multiverse, so we gotta do something else.
They'll do multi-brands.
Multi-brand, there we go.
And then that'll be the next big thing that everyone does, and then no one will be original, and then it's just.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess like that's the thing though, is that you're pretty much like, you just said the word cinematic universe in a different way, so everyone's already done it. But now that's the only thing is that if they decide to do a cinematic universe, that's now years of dedication they have to do. If like we gotta set up the visionaries, we gotta set up mass, we gotta set up this.
Micronauts,
So
gotta set up
Micronauts, yeah. So like
Action Man.
yeah. If they God, there's so many things like they can. Will they do like Stretch Armstrong? Will they do?
Live action and humanoids.
I mean, that would be sick.
Horror
what's the
movie,
one that?
live action and humanoids. That'd be honestly pretty sick.
I was explaining again, like on the drive home with my friend. I was like, I want to see the third movie. I want to see Decompose show up.
Yeah.
Because like, what an idea of a fucking monster! Like dinosaur skull, reptilian body, translucent belly that shows the innards, like the people he ate, like melt away.
Oh, that's not Decompose. That's Gargoyle.
Oh, well, I thought it was Decompose.
No. Decompose is the one that you're describing right now, or at least with the translucent stomach, was Gargoyle. The one that you're talking about was Decompose because he's able to open up his rib cage and like imprison people with inside his innards, and he touches people and they transform into monsters.
Oh, okay.
Gargoyle was the one who's like, I can eat you, and my stomach's translucent, so you get to watch the person digest.
Just have that, dude. Oh, God, have those things show up. But like movie 3, that'd be awesome.
I mean, I watched the Inhumanoids cartoon, and that is like some nightmare fuel, but it's also really good.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of crossover stuff, they just they revealed today or yesterday really the new comic who's heading the Transformers for comics now.
Oh, hey, switch your logo.
Nice.
Hey, Angel. Oh, your audio's breaking up. You there? I think she said her internet went out, so I think her audio is kind of a little.
I mean, it's showing.
Yeah.
Still,
she's here.
Yeah, true. But yeah, the Image Comics. Oh shit.
Like a lot to be.
It's like she's on dial-up.
Yeah, I know.
Honey, I don't know if you can hear me, but
yeah, this is hard to listen to.
I feel bad.
Yeah, this is bad.
Honey, we can't hear you. You're breaking up really bad. Here, I'll message you and we'll talk that way until this can get stabilized.
What I was trying to say, Image Comics, they just revealed that they are heading both up Transformers and G.I. Joe.
Yeah, see, look, here's my thing about that. I saw that, and I know it's like a multiverse type thing. I was hoping it was going to be just like a brand new universe similar to how the IDW comics did it. I don't know how to feel about this new thing.
Well, I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's going to be a new universe. They just Transformers and G.I. Joe at the moment are in this universe.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even like Transformers are going to get like solo stories. It feels like it's all just.
No, they are. It's going to be. So right now, they're doing the Void Rivals is like the comic, the small issue that's going to reveal these two properties.
Okay.
And then they show that there's like a promotional page that says Transformers #1 at the end of 2023, and then G.I. Joe #1 will be coming out at the beginning of 2024.
Okay.
So this crossover mini series will introduce them in the universe, and then they will have their own separate stories.
Okay, see, that has me a little bit more optimistic now, because I was really concerned how like that was going to work out, because everyone was like, "Oh, they're not even going to get their own universe," and I was just like, "That doesn't really make sense," because it's like they just got the IP.
Yeah, exactly. That's why this is as of right now. There's just a crossover event that's going to introduce them, and then they will have their own stories.
I am kind of sad that it wasn't like Boom Studios to do the comics, but I have heard good things about Skybound.
Yeah, I mean, like I went through Image Comics. I think of Invincible, which is an amazing read. Uh, and they've been going on for years, years.
Oh shit, I
So,
forgot Image. Oh shit.
yeah. So these are guys who they've done their comics for like decades. Like I think.
Okay.
I mean, at
Now
this
my
point, it just depends on
hesitancy and my
who's writing it.
skepticism is not as increased as it was. Like this is okay. This is actually pretty promising now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more like just intrigued to see how this will, start up.
So
I wonder if this
just
will,
to
because like the
provide-
Image Comics does have like the Marvel Comics, the Image Comics has like a full universe, like everyone's kind of interconnected. So I wonder, like, will this be that like is the Transformers in the same world of Invincible, or is that or
could
I
we get
just
an
gonna keep
Invincible
it?
Transformers crossover? That'd be kind of cool.
I mean, I'll say as of right now, yes, they absolutely could. If both properties are under Image Comics, even if it's they absolutely could do it. Will they? I don't know. Like I've read all of Invincible. It's if Invincible meets Transformers, Invincible's gonna win. Like if they fight, it's not gonna be in a quick or not, it's not gonna be a drawn out battle. Omni Man Invincible can just just steamroll any Transformer really.
Yeah. So to bide time until Rebecca can properly come back, because I don't want to like just end the episode without her here. That
Right.
feels kind of wrong. Let's talk story for Rise of the Beast, because we haven't really talked about that.
That's true. Yeah, we just picked up some stuff. I'm trying to think. If there's anything else from like difference between screenings, because I think I hit every like big one in the head. Yes, the story. Like, how are you going to attempt this? Like, if we go scene by scene, this is going to be another like 3 hours.
No. It's not going to go scene by scene. I'm just more so going to do like brief overview of like the entire plot, because like I mentioned before, they handle the average, like, I hate saying that, but there's no other way to say it. But it handles the MacGuffin hunt a lot differently than it did in previous Transformers films. Like I think the closest we've had to that was probably The Last Night, for lack of a better comparison, because they had to travel to like the underwater Quintesson spaceship, and that's where they found Merlin's staff. But like this one, it doesn't feel like they're in a rush to try to like get to this place or whatever. It actually feels like they're trying to draw it out a little bit, because like obviously the movie starts off on the Maximal's home planet, which is never name drop, and that bothers me so bad. Just say Eucharis. Just say Jungle.
I was gonna say, I'm sure fans will double Eucharis until otherwise established.
But it starts off with a Maximal's home planet. Scourge shows up, kills Ape Link. Obviously he's there. So cuts to modern day Earth. We're introduced to the human cast. We're introduced to the Autobots. Also, I didn't really talk about Bumblebee, but I love that his very first line in this movie is literally just him about to cuss.
Oh yeah.
Just him going yippee-ki-yay, mother. I love that. And then we get introduced to Elena, and then how she like kind of plays into the whole thing about like, she's an archaeologist, or she knows how to like authenticate museum and like ancient artifacts and shit like that. And then she finds the Air Razor statue, as she calls it, even though, is it really Air Razor statue?
I mean, like they
I guess you can say that, because like the ancient tribe of people that they meet later on, led by Amaru, they knew of the Maximals.
I mean, I think originally, because like they never called it the Air Razor statue at the beginning. They just called it like, oh, is it? It's like they originally called a Horus statue, but then she's like, oh, it can't be Horus.
It's like it's an Air Razor statue, and I'm like, that's
well, I don't think she ever name dropped as Air Razor.
I could have sworn she said like it's the same markings on the Air Razor statue.
Oh, she does, but like very late, when at this point she's discovered that the statue is Air Razor.
Right. I'm not saying like when she first finds it, she says it's Air Razor. I'm saying like later on, she name drops it as.
Well, I mean, then I guess in the end, like I think if we had to call something, it's called the Air Razor statue. That's what it is.
But everyone was like, one of the main things that everyone was concerned about for this movie was like the story. It's not that convoluted. It's It's actually pretty streamlined.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, starts off on the Maximal planet. We go to New York. We meet our human characters in the Autobots. They have to go to Peru. So in comes plot device Stratosphere for, again, lack of a better description. Because I really wish Stratosphere did more other than just like transport the Autobots.
I know, right? You only said one line. 2 lines.
No, he said 2.
Look, Energy on.
I mean, yeah, it still counts.
Great, good job.
I would have preferred if he did say the one line that you had in your cut whenever like Mirage says something and then Stratosphere says whatever he said.
I forget just says like, "Don't worry about it. Like, I'm here. I'm the king of the skies. You gotta Stratosphere."
I'm the best flyer on the Autobots or something.
Yeah, I get that. That's as paraphrasing as it gets. I don't remember what he says, but it was along the lines of like, "Hey, I'm here. I'm Stratosphere. Drop."
And then we move to other plot device, Wheeljack, because he knows all about South America, or at least like Peru and that area. So it's like, okay, wish you did a little bit more. I will say, I do love the backwards exchange, because it's normally in a Transformers movie, the humans would point out that the character is sounding racist.
Mm-hmm.
I love the backwards humor in this. Like, I love
Absolutely.
how Noah is like, hey, old Papa, where are you from? Wheeljack just says Cybertron. And just that whole exchange of him, like, you know what I'm saying? Because like I was gonna be like, I forget the line specifically, but he says something in Spanish. Mio Papa, de donde eres? I was trying to study that line for this stream. I'm not gonna lie. And I love Wheeljack's fucking like eyebrow raise and tilt of head. Like, really? Noah's kind of like awkwardly trying to converse off of that, but he doesn't want to come off as right. And then Wheeljack's immediate retort is like, a little racist, hermano. I love it. I love the backwards, because it's not something that would normally happen in a Transformers movie. It would be the human being like, this guy sounds like a racist stereotype. But no, they're calling it out for the human and throwing it back at them for once. That's great.
That was good.
And the discovery of the ancient temple, the Aztec temple or the Inca temple.
I don't.
I think it was Aztec. It's one of the two. I think she said Inca.
I think you're right. I think it's Aztec. I think she says Aztec.
Okay. But either way, the discovery of that, like, even they call out like it feels like some Indiana Jones type shit. It is, but it's cool. Because it's like, we don't really get to see the humans like explore the area. They're more so like, we need to find the plot device and then go from there. Like, we got glimpses of like what the inside of the pyramids, or not the pyramids, the inside of the Temple of the Primes looked like in,
I was gonna say, like, if anything, that would be like the best example of like something similar.
Right. With Revenge of the Fallen. Dark of the Moon, not really much other than maybe like the Nest soldiers in Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Then Age of Extinction, what was there? Like, just
I mean, like, there was like a MacGuffin, but like
like
there was nowhere to hide it. Everything that was actually hidden was like walked down. So really, yeah, it wasn't an ancient thing to do.
Yeah, like, it was just, we're going to explore populated cities. Like, we're going to go into Chicago, and then we're going to go into Hong Kong. That's it.
Yep.
And then the last night decided, let's do something different. Let's go underwater. And we got to explore the Quintesson ship. And you can't lie, that is a Quintesson ship.
Oh, yeah, I think, I mean, that this will forever be a mystery, but I think Hasbro was planning on Quintessa being Quintesson specifically. Like, there's that Transformers Last Night, like the movie, the app, and it had a timeline, and it said in the timeline that the Knights steal a Quintesson artifact and escape. So I think and also with the fact that Cyberverse was at that point like going into the big Quintesson thing, which usually when that happens for like a brand, like something will happen in the movie, and then that thing will also reflect into the show.
Yeah.
So I think they were going to go with the whole Quintessa was going to be a liar and she was actually a Quintesson. That's how I see it. That was going to go.
Yeah, that's
Anyway, good.
Yeah, I mean they did that. That's not the only time they did something like that too. They did that with like Age of Extinction with the Dinobots because the Dinobots were in FOC, so they carried those over, and then the whole event.
Absolutely, yeah. If FSD didn't happen, the Dinobots would not be a thing. Like it wouldn't be popular anymore.
And then the whole idea of like the Autobots being in a junkyard or scrapyard as a base that carried over from Robots in Disguise 2015 to the last night.
Yep, Hawaiian shirt included.
Yeah. You know, I always forget the name of that human. Then I remember, oh yeah, it's like the most basic ass name ever, Jimmy.
Jimmy.
So, but you know, just them exploring that ancient temple, like as in depth as they went, like they went Uncharted level with like the CG and everything. Like I don't think any of that was obviously practical, but they really like went in depth with it because it felt like watching the Uncharted movie.
Yeah, I would say like I think probably like that long shot of like the cavern was CG, but I'm pretty sure there's a bunch of studios like inside studios that they rigged up to be like the cave where they see the tomb, I guess, that holds the key.
I guess it would be a tomb. It'd be kind of weird if it's just that and then not.
Yeah, it's very tomb shaped.
Yeah. So and then from there, you know, we go from like another battle with, you know, Scourge and the Autobots or the Terracons and the Autobots fighting together. By the way, cool battle. Like, I think it's one of the few times where it's like they handle like a freeway style chase pretty well. Because like in Dark of the Moon, it wasn't done terribly. Oh, okay, actually, no, I take that back. It was done kind of bad. Because it's like you don't really get to see them do much in robot mode, but like you get RC hanging off the side of Wheeljack and then like popping up from the sunroof and shooting at Battletrap. You get Battletrap in his tow truck mode, like wrecking them.
The first time ever, I think, you see villains like team up to do something like that.
Yeah,
like,
that was
grabbing Nightbird. Yeah, I mean that's
shooting missiles from his engine block.
Also, not just that every fight in general in this movie is clear and crisp. Like, thank God.
Yeah, the cinematography in this movie is really good. Like Michael Bay still being affiliated and still being part of this project, like it shows. But I love all the different angles from like the close-ups to the wide shots to that gorgeous shot of the side of the hill with all the Autobots and the Terracons together driving. That's such a nice shot.
Mm-hmm. I will say there's some shots that Michael Bay does because that's his whole thing is that he's a director of like entertainment and action. Yeah. There are some wide shots that I will miss since he's not doing it anymore. Like I just like a whole bunch I can think of just great wide shots of a bunch of Transformers in one shot doing their own things, and I think
at some point.
I mean, I would like that, but but like it seems it's very clear that like they're more focused on clear action of like specific guys fighting specific guys, and which is not bad. I'm not like this is actually it's very very good. I'm just saying that there are some shots.
Really nice to see like the actual characters fighting each other as opposed to here's a shot from a distance, even though you sort of get that as well in this movie because in the fight with Scourge, the final fight rather, you have a very similar shot of Optimus and Scourge fighting, but it almost kind of mirrors Galvatron and Optimus fighting. You know what I mean? Like the one shot where it's like facing forward to the camera and then you see like Optimus kind of sort of tackle Scourge. But in Age of Extinction, it was Galvatron who just upper decked the fuck out of Optimus. Mm-hmm. And it was almost in that same position, too. So I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, so Scourge basically fends off against Optimus, and the Autobots technically lose this battle in a way. I mean, they well, I guess win/lost because, I mean, they still technically have the key, but then Scourge tracks them with that device that he all of a sudden has. Mm-hmm. And then cuts to, you know, obviously we're still in Peru, so that's where we get to see the Maximals join the fight, or at least be introduced. I really wish that Rhinox got to say at least something. I do appreciate Optimus Primal introducing everyone, but I really wish that, like, they would have at least got one line like, my name is Cheetor, or my name is Rhinox, or I'm Rhinox. And
yeah,
then
right.
Narrator says it's like, you already know me.
Also, speaking of introductions, like having the Optimus, like the name explanation between the two,
that was
because that was not in my cut. I was afraid because like I was kind of baffled. Like, are we not going to talk about the fact that his name is straight up your name plus 2 letters? Like, are we not going to talk about that?
I
And they
genuinely
didn't.
like that whole exchange. I liked hearing the confusion in Optimus's voice, like Optimus Primal.
Yeah, it's like that is good because that would have sucked if they just left it out.
Yeah, because that's a big pivotal thing in Beast Wars too. Is that like
Exactly.
Primal took Optimus's name as a way to honor him because I guess in that timeline the Autobots and Decepticons are all gone. The Great War wiped them out.
I'm telling you, he died from Unicron. He lost. He's taking the name of a fallen leader. It
So,
writes itself, Hasbro.
so I thought that was really cool that they went ahead and did that. Also, I mean, I guess if you want to be technical about like voice credit, maybe David Sobolov did the pants of the Rhino, like of his like whenever he's in
Maybe.
beast mode.
Yeah, he actually screamed too. That was all him.
Wait, really?
No.
No, but yeah, that's when they go to this brand new like group of humans that knew about the Maximals. Then the whole thing with Air Razor trying to fight the Dark. So are we just not going to admit that that is basically Dark Energon? Like Air Razor said,
shit, yeah.
Unicron infuses Scourge and the Terracons with dark energy. But that also looks very similar to like the dark energon like marks that Optimus and Megatron had in the last night.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can absolutely, I would agree with that, and I bet that's for sure another thing of like we have to, just call it just dark energy. That it's a universal thing that everyone can accept. You don't have to explain what dark energy is.
I got to give credit to Rebecca for that because she was the one that actually brought that up in our private chat when we were talking after she saw the movie because it got me thinking too. I'm like, yeah, maybe that makes sense because it's like they're Unicron's heralds. Why wouldn't they be infused with Dark Energon? And who's to say Dark Energon doesn't serve a different purpose in this universe compared to what it does in Transformers Prime or War for Cybertron? You know,
also, I think only Scourge is infused with dark energy. I think I think Strip, Battletrap, and Nightbird are just henchmen.
Oh, I could have sworn it was all of them.
No, I think I swear. I think he just.
You're right. Air Razor did mention specifically that was like he infused Scourge with dark energy, making him nearly invincible. Yeah, okay. I guess that does.
And also, like straight up, like that's why Scourge is really being like, I can fight Optimus Prime like pretty much with one hand.
Yeah. I really don't like. I mean, I know why they did it, but at the same time, it really breaks my heart because it's like poor Michelle Yeoh as Air Razor didn't get a chance to really shine that much. But that whole scene with Air Razor's death, made me sad.
Oh man, that's another big crazy change. In the old cut, Primal snaps her neck, like not a crush of the chest. And also, Air Razor, she had like when she was corrupted, she was speechless. She was fully thin. So like Primal was just like Air Razor, like please stop, like don't make me do this. But she was just going too crazy, so then he just snapped her neck. And she drops dead there. So I think
didn't want to be like too violent with it, but I mean, still you're crushing her chest in.
Oh yeah, this is better for sure. Like one, she's also like, she's agreeing to it at least. She's like, do it, no matter the cost, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, this is a better version for sure.
And then I guess after that, they move on to the third act. The Autobots and the Maximals decide to work together, team up, and fight Scourge because apparently the transwarp key is able to manifest a giant transwarp bridge out of nothing.
Oh yeah, I that is the thing. I'm like, I am kind of like racking my brain on how do I explain this away, besides just like it's like the key. Maybe the key just has this bridge program inside itself to where it will just form this bridge no matter where it is. I mean, this is a thing that really is designed to teleport things in and out. So I can be surprised if like it's just that building is just built in its code.
I mean, I guess if something like in Revenge of the Fallen, the Matrix can just like turn to dust and then later turn into the Matrix again. Why can't we have a transwarp key that manifests and brings a
and this is alien like technology that we cannot comprehend. Who knows what the fuck?
Yeah.
The actual science comes from.
They better just not call it transformium in this universe, otherwise I'm
gonna. No, I'm sure not. it's more hard to explain where all the Terracons came from. Like, it's because it ain't Unicron's doing.
Mm-mm.
So that one for sure is probably just a don't explain it, don't ask
Actually,
why.
no. Maybe it could be because it's like Scourge calls for reinforcements later, and even before then, like he starts dropping pods, and they all can turn.
Yeah, but at least you see that though. This one, like they just straight up they materialize out of nothing. I think this one is just meant to be a don't ask about it, just let it go.
I don't know. Maybe when Scourge used the key, that also got infused with like some dark energon, and he was able to like just generate troops.
Like
As, like,
again,
security
that's
measure?
probably the best way you can describe it because otherwise it really is just like he just pulled a bridge out of nothing. Unless
I mean,
like maybe again like maybe that the bridge is made out of hollow matter or fucking whatever. Yeah, again it's this one is just yeah, it happened.
It's a thing that happened, and we just have to accept it.
Which as of right now, actually, speaking of hollow matter, I think that's how they're explaining Optimus Prime's in Fortnite. Because Optimus Prime shows up and he hollow matters a little version of himself doing the gritty. Which like I'll say right now, I don't mind giving Fortnite. I am playing it to get the Prime skin. Because right now I'm playing as Optimus Primal. It's been a while since I played Fortnite. It's fun.
You're a little rusty.
I'm a little rusty. But
what does this say about me as a Transformers fan? If you're willing to go on Fortnite to get Transformers shit, and I'm just like, I want no part of it.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. I've actually played Fortnite. I've had like times of playing Fortnite in between this, especially because like they've added the whole you can play without building now. That makes Fortnite a lot more playable. So, and also because I was playing some with Sam and some of the TFI crew. So otherwise, I probably wouldn't have played it not too long ago. So it's more of just like I have people that I know are online to play with.
Oh, maybe one day I'll give it a shot again. I doubt it. And I
mean,
if
you're doing it for the Prime skin, you have like 2 months, and then it's over.
What, they're not just gonna like throw it into the?
No, anything that's part of the Battle Pass will never be in the store. You may get Primal again, but Optimus Prime would no longer be a skin ability. That is, if it's gone forever.
I don't know.
Also, I think in a week they might have Bumblebee be a skin too. I think just him and Primal alone isn't enough. I think they might have Bumblebee, another big name character from Transformers, to be in the game. I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I might have to think on it. I really just don't care for Fortnite. I hate that it's like.
Really, no, I mean I don't care for Fortnite either, but I do want to hit the gritty with Optimus Prime. So.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh, it's a Fortnite thing. You would understand.
No, I bet. But
yeah, let's get back to the actual movie we're talking
about. But for the story's sake, that whole final battle, I mean personally, I feel it was a little, dare I say, rushed. Just a smidge. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I mean, the story, it's really not that complicated. I was really worried because it's like, how are they going to throw in Beast Wars and all this? And how are they going to throw in Terracons and Unicron and all this? But no, it all works.
Oh yeah, like it's great, and especially good thing it came out now. If it came out, let's say like a year later, like now, during this writer's strike, it could have been a Revenge of the Fallen 2. It would have been
bad. Oh, absolutely, or worse.
Because Revenge of the Fallen's its structure, like the fact that it needed like 2 or 3 different like exposition scenes between their movies, like or between their like acts, it's not the best way to tell a story. And also that's the thing is that now with this writer's strike, I'm pretty sure like these movies are not going to be like planned until like probably at the end of this year. So it might be a couple of years until we get our Transformers.
Guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I know they're aiming for next year for the Transformers 1 movie.
Yeah, I think that's written though. I think that's all good to go. It's just anything after that.
They've been doing like some behind the scenes work, and they're like, "Oh, this is already done," and now you're just hearing about it.
I mean, that'd be crazy. Like, I think I'm pretty sure like they don't have anything written yet. and that's the whole point that the writer strike's happening and no one's writing any movies. So
Do you
as right
think,
now,
sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say like I don't want right. Hopefully they don't rush it. Let the strike blow over. Let them hopefully have writers get what they want, more money.
Okay,
And
sorry.
yeah. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, so with the topic of like writer strike and everything, we did have a Transformers writers room for a while. Do you think, strictly speaking about Rise of the Beast, do you think Rise of the Beast is like one of the like results for the writers room?
100% absolutely. Calling it right now, like Transformers 7, whatever Transformers 7 was going to be, TLK sequel or this, it was always going to be Beast Wars. It was always going to be Unicron. It's too like similarities are too like coincidental to be considered just like, oh, it just so happens to be the same thing. Like it's like the fact is there was TLK Beast Wars concept art like for Cheetor and Primal and the Snake. Like, and also they were originally having a plan about Alpha Trion brings Onyx Prime on a prison ship to Earth in the ancient past, so there was going to be more beasts and stuff that we were having planned. And which means we would have had an Onyx Prime. What the fuck that would have been like?
Yeah, that would have been like a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. And so absolutely, like this story, not for like T for T, like what came to the writers' room, but the whole like they gotta do Beast Wars and they gotta do Unicron was from that writers' room. Absolutely.
Do you think other movies that are coming up are also from the writers' room, or do you think those are just kind of like off the cuff ideas?
I as of right now, especially with the fact that they made it very clear that the next idea for the movies is G.I. Joe, I think that was a new recent idea, not from the writers' room. I think as of right now, like this movie is probably the only thing that's going to come out of that writers' room, and everything else will be just a new breath of air, fresh start. Do our own thing, unless they say otherwise.
So, I'm trying to think of like what else can we really discuss about, because like we didn't really touch much on the voice actors other than like Ron Perlman, Peter Cullen, Pete Davidson.
Yeah, we talk about Pete Davidson. Yeah. Also, like Peter Dinklage, kind of, I would say that I think he kind of phoned it in. I think, and also because even like if you see him at the premiere of Rise of the Beast, he doesn't really look like the chippest dude. Like he is there, mostly just frowning.
Maybe he just has like resting bitch face or something.
Maybe I for sure think that this was
maybe that's just how he looks, but on the inside he's actually, I don't know.
I would be surprised. I honestly think that like this was like he was contracted for the role. He said his lines, and now he's like, well, now I need to make an appearance in Singapore.
Do you think? Okay, so I've been thinking about like one line that Scourge said, and it didn't sound like Peter Dinklage, but it could be wrong. But whenever he says "master the reinforcements," doesn't that sound like Steve Bloom a little bit?
I didn't think so. I mean, it sounded like him.
Sounded like Peter Dinklage or Steve Bloom?
Peter Dinklage. I think it sounded like Peter Dinklage. I think that was just him.
Like I'm not saying that's not him, but I'm just saying from the tone of the line and everything, it sounded like Steve Bloom to me a little bit. Like,
yeah, maybe if I ever hear it again, I'll listen for Steve Bloom and see if it sounds like him. I don't remember.
But I love Scourge. I love Peter Dinklage's Scourge. I'm really sad that we're not probably going to ever see him again, because I feel like Scourge could have been like a more than a one-off villain. And I really hate that this is still an ongoing thing in all the Transformers movies, is that all the Decepticons, all the antagonists are just one-offs. Like there's no way for them to carry over other than if it's just Megatron or Starscream.
I was going to say, like, besides Megatron, Starscream.
Everyone else has to die. It's like, why? You can't let Scourge stay alive for another movie. He could still pose a threat. Maybe instead of having in the original cut with Optimus getting sucked up to Unicron, maybe it could be Scourge. And then maybe, I don't know.
I wonder if it's because like they fear that like if people survive or characters survive, they didn't have to be obligated to be in the next movie. I mean, that's not entirely true. Or maybe it is. The Barricade is now always showing up because they never kill him until now. I mean, he's still mysteriously alive. So I wonder if that's it. Like it's like if we don't kill him, then they expect us to bring him back. So let's just kill him. And
Yeah,
also,
but
let's give us
you
more
don't think
reasons
that
to do
Scourge and
that.
Nightbird and Battletrap could like carry over as like other villains and then introduce even more faction to the Terracons?
I mean, that'd be cool. I mean, if they had actual characters, like, because I'm gonna be honest, they were all one-dimensional to me, even Scourge. And that's the thing. The fact that they cut out lines from Scourge to make him more of a character is baffling because, or it made it very clear that they just wanted to have this guy be, I serve Unicron. Battletrap is, I want a real fight. Nightbird is, I'm the girl and I like to fly. Like they didn't have any lines. They were there. They were menacing, and they fought and they died. They served their purpose. They're cool designs and they're cool as characters, but like I guess you say they're cool like for what they are, but I guess as characters there was nothing really to them. So I didn't feel bad or obviously, and I didn't be like, oh man, I want to see more Scourge. I was like, oh, the main bad guy died. Okay, cool. That's why, but that's the thing. That's why they have potential to make it better the next time. Like especially, I mean, the only thing is that now the thing is like, oh, the next bad guy might just be a human, might just be Cobra Commander, which I guess they can make more like realistic because they don't have to spend thousands of dollars to put the bad guys on the screen. They can have just an actor show up. So I don't know. It's I stick by my opinion that the bad guys here were pretty bland. They were cool, been badass, absolutely, but they were bland.
Yeah, I mean, I still feel like Scourge is obviously the best out of the three, personally.
Absolutely, yeah. He actually because there's literally there's something about him. There's we have more of an reasoning behind him. Like they at least explain that he's still a tortured soul.
Yeah,
But like that's all they got though.
I really do wish I explored more with Battletrap and Nightbird, though. Like, I really like Nightbird. I love her voice actress, Michaela J. Rodriguez. She did a really good job.
Yeah, like the two lines she had.
Give her more
Let
credit.
everyone know.
She had like 4 or 5 lines. She was like one of the
most. Oh, did she? She said like you humans like it's all be over soon, humans, and then she said you should have stayed dead, and then she blew up.
She said more than that.
Well, what?
Whenever Scourge said Maximal, she's like, good. Maybe they can give us a real fight.
Oh, okay, cool. Great. Hopefully she gets nominated for Best Actress. It's just
I'm just saying,
man.
I genuinely like Nightbird's voice. That's exactly what I was thinking because he sounds
like, yeah, at least that's true. Like she did the job well. Like everyone sounds cool and like they sound menacing. Yeah, that's true. In fact, I kind of forget about that line with the Maximal, like oh, a real fight, because like it shows that they experienced this before. They fought the Maximals before.
I am still kind of bothered also that like Transformers movies love to carry on the tradition of not bringing up everyone's names, because like I don't think Battletrap got a name drop once.
That's true. Yeah, huh? He sure didn't.
And I wonder why.
Because I don't think did they name drop any of the main bad guys in Bumblebee?
I don't think so. Other than
of the 3 actual villains, none of them are introduced.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah, like straight up, like they go to Sector 7 and they just say, "Hey, let's work together." And they don't even get the decency of introducing themselves.
Not even Blitzwing gets a name drop.
No, yeah. Blitzwing could have been Ramjet, and everyone would have been happy. But
honestly, I kind of prefer Ramjet. That'd be cool.
As of right now, yeah, absolutely. Back when people think it was Starscream for a second, and then he died, and then it was all like, maybe he should be Ramjet.
I was one of those people to believe it was Starscream, but it's not our fault. He had a similar.
Me too. I did too. We were all in the same boat. We all thought he was Starscream because we all thought it was a prequel, and we didn't know it was gonna be like different shit. Like, look, like it was their fault for making us believe that way.
It was our fault too, because we should know. We've had 5 movies, and every character we think is that character isn't that character, other than Optimus Prime and Bumblebee.
but I guess like that's the thing. We usually see a vehicle and think, oh, it's that guy because he's also that vehicle. But this time they made a guy
Yeah,
look
they didn't
just
really
like
show
another
the
dude.
vehicle, like
That's their
we
fault.
saw the transformation. We didn't see like the F4 Phantom fully. We just saw the transformation from it.
We just saw a jet transformer. Exactly. We saw a Seeker with Starscream colors that didn't fully transform yet. How did we not think it was gonna like? How do you expect us to not think it's Starscream?
And then we saw Starscream in the Cybertron scene, and we were all happy, but also
Right?
sad.
Yeah, we're like, ooh.
There.
Yeah.
They
So
really gotta find a way to treat the Decepticons and like the antagonist better. Like, I really want to see more Terracons in the future because it's like with a character like Unicron, you could easily have him like you could have him take Scourge's dead body and still reformat it. You know, like Megatron was near death in the '86 movie. What if he just died and then he got reformatted and then Unicron infuses more dark energon into him and brings him back to life?
I mean, he is a bunch of pieces in lava.
I mean, fair. He's still got his torso and his legs.
My phone's dying here.
The what?
I'm trying to put my charger. My phone's dying here.
Oh shit. I mean, I guess it would be a good place to start. Or
stop, is Rebecca just not coming back anymore?
Yeah, unfortunately, she's having internet problems. Like every other internet network is being detected, but for some reason, their home internet isn't.
Yikes.
So maybe we'll do a part 2. I mean, it's Rise of the Beast, man. We got a lot to talk about.
I mean, also like I think we got a good portion of everything we need to talk about right for this movie.
Yeah, I'm just happy to talk about Transformers movie again. And I do wish, or at least I do plan on doing more, hopefully doing more, maximize the hype. And if not, I'm still happy with what I put out because my whole thing about Rise of the Beast, right, was I didn't care at first because there wasn't enough promotion to get me like hyped and excited for it. Like, yeah, we knew a Transformers movie was coming out. We knew the details. But I want to see like designs. I want to start seeing and hearing voices and wondering like voice cast. Like, I think we got a great voice cast. I mean, aside from Bumblebee, but Bumblebee also brought a lot of character. This dude cussed so much. I fucking love it.
No, yeah, true.
But like, you know, Peter, you can't go wrong with Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. It's really nice that he's still able to be part of this franchise. He may not be in cartoons, or you know, maybe if we're lucky, he'll be in Transformers.
Michael,
reactivate as Optimus, because I hope so. Amazing. I'm cutting out again.
Yeah. Now we have a big delay.
Typical Spectrum. But like I was saying with Peter Cullen, I would love for him to come back for Transformers Reactivate, because we're possibly getting Frank Welker, unless it's just going to be John Bailey again, which I'm fine with. John Bailey does a good job too.
Yep.
But it's nice to know that he's still able to be part of the franchise and he's still able to be Optimus Prime and he wants to be Optimus Prime. I'm not going to say this movie feels like an Optimus Prime solo film. It is very Optimus focused in terms of his character for the most part. But it's also kind of feels like a discount Age of Extinction with his animosity towards humans, which is fair. It's just a little bit more.
At least this one is a little bit more like it's understandable because I guess it's not like he hates him. He just doesn't want to.
He just doesn't want to like any part of them because he doesn't know them. He doesn't trust them. He doesn't
exactly like he just wants to leave. He doesn't want to be attached. He just wants to go.
It's like that one kid at a family event who just wants to go home. Exactly,
and only this time he wants to go home and stop his other family members from being killed.
Yeah,
and he can't do that. It was just again, if they try to make this a prequel, it's gonna be interesting to be like he leaves, he goes back home, and like, but he comes back.
All right, there was another transwarp key all along.
Yep. Yeah, that is good. Like, how does
it was on Cybertron, and we just never knew.
Yep, it was right there. It's probably be like, oh, it was inside the Grand Canyon or some other world like thing of like, let's go. What other crazy like worldly known ruin or
movie that takes place in the Grand Canyon? Because that honestly would be kind of cool.
I'm sure they're running out of like world wonders to do. So eventually, I'm sure the Grand Canyon will be hit.
That's another thing too. I want to just talk about this briefly, and I'll probably dive more into it when we do another part for TFTC, which won't be. I don't think it'll be next weekend or anything. It might. Who knows? We'll see. But I love that in this movie, it's not your average environment of a populated city or a desert or a populated city. It's literally here's a museum, which not only is unique, but it also references Transformers Prime's episode Deus Ex Machina from season 1. We get to go to Peru, Cusco specifically, which is really cool. We don't really get that kind of stuff. Like, one could argue we got Jordan, Egypt with that whole, those ancient buildings and everything, which is fine. But like, this is more like slightly advanced human civilization, which I really like. And then we got a volcano. We never battled at a volcano before. This is brand new. It's really cool. So I'm glad that we got more exciting locales to actually explore and to like actually engage with, as opposed to the traditional stuff. And I think that's a major plus in this case, because I'm pretty sure everyone was tired of, all 3 movies take place in a city, 2 movies take place in the desert, maybe 1 takes place on Cybertron, and it's not even the traditional Cybertron. It's like this soil and grass looking Cybertron that's like from Transformers Cybertron, where it was able to grow vegetation and shit. Not saying that was bad or anything. I'm just saying that's.
I mean, I think that was cheap. Like, that's just a cheap way to be like, they're fighting on the home planet, just on the one speck of the entire planet that has Earth on it,
while also being filmed in Scotland, because that was filmed in either Scotland or Ireland, and it's like, this is supposed to be Cybertron. I mean, I guess you could believe it. Like, sure, but yeah, the locales were expertly chosen this time around. I'm really happy that they decided to do some more distinct looks, and just the voice cast, as I mentioned. Like, I love Peter Cullen, Bumblebee, just doing radio voices, but like every other word or every other phrase has like him cussing in it. His reintroduction scene was really cool, and I just love how his line from that, after he just comes back to life, is like, "I am here to kick ass." Or I have come here to kick ass. I thought that was great. The soundtrack, the score, they did, again, future episode, we'll definitely talk more about it. But there's so many good positives for this movie, and I highly encourage people to go see it in theaters. Show the box office, show everyone that you want to see more movies like this. Do not pirate it. Just go see it in theaters. It's worth the experience, and it is absolutely worth a 4-year wait. 4 or 5 years. I think it was 4. Everyone says 5. I don't think it was 5 years. I think it was 4 years. But either way, yeah, absolute wonderful experience. Such a great movie. Highly recommend it. And we will definitely continue to talk about it more, with or without spoiler, or both. Who knows? But hopefully, at least some of you guys have seen it already. Go see it again. It's just that good. I've seen it 3 times. So, yeah. Cyborg, got any closing thoughts?
Yeah, like, I guess one of my first comments may seem like I didn't like it, but I still enjoy the movie for what it is.
Well, your audio was kind of acting up.
And what?
Your audio was kind of acting up. Like, it sounded like you were on a walkie-talkie.
Overall, I enjoy the movie. I think Bumblebee and Rise of the Beasts are, so far, they're on a good like path on just being known as like the good Transformers movies, and hopefully they stay that way. I agree that, if you wanted this franchise to succeed and make more movies, go see it. If you haven't yet, and if you haven't, why don't you watch the stream? It's I had a fun time. Again, if they release the extended version in theaters, I'll go see it again. Otherwise, I think I've had my fill of Rise of the Beast. I'm down. I'm glad this came out. I'm glad people are enjoying it, and I want to see where this goes.
Likewise, very much agree. Release the cable cut. Get that trending.
Yep, get a hashtag trending.
Release the cable cut. Because I know we're going to see Transit, but I want to see all the other like leaked dialogue or the lost dialogue, cut dialogue, and such. I want to hear David Sobolov's Rhinox. I really do.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only other thing I have to really say is I apologize for all the technical difficulties and such. My internet is terrible. Ever since we upgraded Spectrum's equipment, it's been bumping us off for some reason. I don't know why. It has its good moments and it has its bad moments. So I'm going to see if they'll fix that. And also, I deeply want to apologize to poor TF Adictress because she was just kind of here. She didn't really get to say too much, which is why I want to do another episode about Rise of the Beasts. And to the people who've been asking me in the comment section, can I join this episode? I have very much made it explicitly clear that to not ask me during live streams to join, because I just feel like it kind of derails the tangents and the conversation a little bit. If I am looking for guests, I will make an Instagram post on my stories. I'm not saying that you won't be added, and I know a lot of people and some of the similar people have been asking me over and over again, can I join this episode? Can I join this episode? I do sincerely apologize. I will try to include more people. It's just I haven't done TFTC in a while, and I'm still technically on a creative break, but I really wanted to talk about Rise of the Beast, and I feel like this is something that was a good way to let that, be an outlet. And I got to hang out with TF Adictress, and I got to hang out with my buddy Cyborg, and it's been a while since we had Cyborg on.
Yeah.
On stream, and hopefully we'll see more of you, right? I hope.
Yeah.
So I know you're not always there for the toys and everything, but I mean, I know you're there for like movies and comics, so we'll definitely have more fuel to talk with that. But
that's true.
I would like to see you more in like toys and
comics.
comics.
We have a whole new video game coming out soon.
Yeah, video game too. Oh, God, the Summer Game Fest. The only thing that made me really happy was the announcement of Spider-Man 2's release date.
Oh yeah,
I wanted to see a Reactivate trailer. But
it's a shame. Like when that game comes out, I will be going to Japan, so I won't be able to enjoy it for like 2 weeks.
No. Wait, Spider-Man or Reactivate?
Spider-Man. I don't think there's a release date for Transformers, right?
No, not yet. Reactivate is going to be 4 days before my birthday, though, and 2 days before. Oh shit! Wait, no. Is it? Wait, is it on the same day as TFCon Orlando? Because I think it was like the 20th to the 23rd.
Because the 20th is October is a Spider-Man thing, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
Let me see. 20th to the 22nd. Shit. It's October. I can save. I can do it. But yeah, hopefully we'll hear something about Reactivate at Gamescom later this, I want to say July or August. Because I know Summer Game Fest already came and went, but I think Gamescom is... let's see. It's still on topic with Transformers. Yeah, August 2023. So we'll be hopefully hearing something about that soon. Maybe Splash Damage will give us an update. Maybe they'll stealth drop a theatrical cinematic trailer for the game or something. I don't know. I want to just see gameplay. I want to know the story. I just want to see what this game has in store, because it's like we got cutscenes, we got designs, but we don't have like every design and every cutscene. Like, I just want to see more of it. I want to know what we're getting into. So just have to wait and see. But other than that, I say this was a pretty solid episode. I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, again, guys, go check out Transformers Rise of the Beast, now in theaters. Stephen Caple Jr., Steven Spielberg, Michael Bay, everyone on the team, Anthony Ramos, Dominic Fishback, they all did such an amazing job. We will definitely be talking more about this later on. If it's not next week, it'll be the week after. But it all depends on scheduling and everything. So just stay tuned. There will be stuff on the way. Divided Mind is still happening. Cyborg will be part of it. TF Adictress will be part of it. And a few surprise people will be a part of it as well. So stay tuned for that as well. Well, with all that being said, my TF Addicts, that's pretty much all there is to say. So this has been TFTC episode 85 on Transformers Rise of the Beasts. This is going to be part 1, so stay tuned for part 2 coming at a later date. And please remember, until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. This is TFA 1024, the TF Addict, rolling out until all is fun. Good night.